with guys like OG?
Yeah. We're talking about the matchup, and
they felt like giving away Shaker was the best
yeah, it's probably the smartest way.
How do you react to something like this hero? I feel like there's not a ton of counters for Shaker.
Yeah, it's the way they play with Shaker Liquid is that they're gonna play very mid-heavy most of the time. They're gonna try to turn the mid matchup. They're gonna try to give Miracle. Miracle's gonna get away with something greedier mid, like Invoker or. They're gonna play very mid-heavy, but I think LGD is pretty good at that. Like maybe he's a very strong mid laner, and it's very hard to actually pressure him on that lane, and they're willing to rotate two supports there if needed. LGD, so I wouldn't be so worried about the Shaker first pick for Liquid if I was LGD.
See, two of the most popular picks for LGD, Magnus and Kunkka.
Two of the most popular picks for Liquid as well. They've been really going to like deferring to that Necrophosis, even like first two now.
So what you can see here already, you have this Magnus that's most likely going to be offlane, and the Necrophos on Matumba, man, you could also go mid, but they already have a way to send one hero against the Magnus that's going to bully him, so you can tell that it's going to be very action-packed around the mid lane, or maybe around LGD's safe lane, which is definitely what you want to break if you're trying to pressure LGD early on in the draft. So I like the Necrophos pick for that sake.
So we see the Queen of Pain banned out, and Lone Druid, another Team Liquid frequent pick. And another Broodmother, another Team Liquid frequent pick. Complete lane dominating hero.
We saw LGD this morning go to that Queen of Pain with Magnus as like some sort of magic range damage to balance out the massive amount of physical melee damage they have with Magnus. And what did they play this morning? Was it Troll?
Yep, Troll. They play a lot of PA with it, Troll. They're also looking at Void if it's in. So you can see that Liquid, they had this idea of drafting the Necrolite. I mean, they banned AA. There's definitely something to it where AA would have been a great pickup. LGD wished they could just pick the AA now. So they're most likely looking for a Yao hero. What that guy's going to play, he usually plays Oracle. What is he looking at also? They pick all of themselves. Shadow Shaman. Yeah, they're looking at these heroes right now, like safe lane secure heroes.
It seems like Team Liquid has been banning AA in the majority of their games, at least towards the second half of this tournament. Is there any other hero that can fill a similar role that prevents Liquid from running heavy heal lineups?
I don't think so. I was contemplating that earlier, but I think it's a lot scarier when there's a keeper not left in the pool, because if you disable the Necrophos, there's not that much unless they pick up something like an Oracle, but I don't think so. Maybe, I think we've seen Silencer sometimes coming out from some of the Chinese teams, but it hasn't really been popular this tournament at all.
LGD sticking to their guns. I imagine both teams are just going to pick exactly what they've been picking this entire tournament and just see how they clash in game one. Rasta for Yao. He's played this hero a bunch of times.
I mean, LGD is definitely very happy with the heroes they're able to get this series. Liquid looks to be fine to counter what LG has to offer, and my bet would be it's going to be a laning thing where they're going to try to pressure them early, because the team fight from LGD is already extremely scary. Like, the only way you can fight against Kunkka Magnus is with vision advantage. If you're able to secure yourself a better way to open fights, then you can break these heroes, but I think it doesn't look like Liquid's going for that anyway.
You don't think Mind Control is going to play Furion or Beastmaster?
I think it's a pretty good, yeah, Beastmaster would be a great hero to play against LGD. It's one of my favorites to also counter the Magnus. It's definitely very effective where you can play around vision, play around Magnus never getting RPs, and obviously taking objectives faster and play around Magnus' weaknesses. It's a pretty slow hero, and when he has RP cooldown, he doesn't bring much to the game, and you can just like pretty much.
What's the interaction with Cleave and Armor again?
I think Armor, like it depends on the first target that you hit. I think that's how it works. Like it's different in Tidebringer, but I'm not 100% sure about what I'm saying. So now they go for the bottom. Bottom Kunkka, very scary lane to deal with. Bottom is also a hero that doesn't care as much about Fisher blocks mid. So I mean, I like that. JH plays very mid heavy. Let's say he was in the bottom and he was a Leshrac or something, then Shaker can become very annoying to deal with middle.
This draft reminds me so much of the draft we saw earlier this morning. Instead of Mirana, they had a Quab, but it's a nice balance of magical damage to supplement the physical damage that's going to be coming out from their 5th pick hero.
They're definitely addressing the Shaker laning-wise. And I mean, JH is incredibly good at finding these Fisher blocks and having huge impact on that roaming Shaker.
I'm sure he'll still manage to get something done.
For sure. I mean, he's playing this match for a reason. Definitely one of the best Shakers in this tournament. The way he plays it is just amazing.
He just buys boots, runs around, grabs all the bounty runes, plays in fog. You never really know where he is, and then all of a sudden a Fissure is blocking you off from your lane.
Yeah, always right place, right time. I mean, I'm not exactly sure. The Lich pick is definitely a good pick against LGD. It is they tend to try lane a lot and making sure that they're going to secure Amis farm or Ames farm, I'm not sure how to spell his nickname, but anyway, the Lich makes their style very dangerous, because if you try lane against a Lich and you're not able to get kills, you're going to find yourselves in like deep troubles.
We've seen a couple teams really trying to combat this Lich in their early laning phase with heavy roamers. Already seeing Kunkka and Shadow Shaman from LGD, these are not traditional roaming heroes, so Lich might be able to have a huge impact on the early laning phase.
Yeah, it's a very clever pick from Liquid. I like it a lot, laning-wise. They're very focused on laning. They have this Necrophos that no one's going to be able to contest. They have the Lich that is going to make LGD's try-lane very weak. And the Shaker, I mean, the purpose was mainly to pressure mid. He doesn't have to stay there, because obviously the bottom pick was pretty smart. But Liquid is definitely taking the laning path, which is how they can break LGD.
Oh, a Morphling.
So it's looking like most likely a dual lane mid with Lich and Morphling.
Yeah, it could definitely be that. Morphling, great hero against Mag in general. He counters most of the melee carries. Like, he's usually very good against all the jogs and the trolls, like the replicate. Obviously, he doesn't care as much about RP, he cares about silences. And like heavy burst, RP is not so problematic for Morphling.
What kind of melee hero do we think, or Ben, what do you think, be on some sort of melee hero for LGD?
It's really tough versus Morphling. You really don't want to take it late. Most of the melee heroes get destroyed by him.
We do Juggernaut, Anti-Mage.
Both pretty tough. And I don't think they can also lane out the Shaker with it. Like, if you have a really good laner versus Shaker, you're not going to be able to handle the Morphling late game, and vice versa.
Well, they got to pick something.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of Ame's heroes. You went to the PA that he picks a lot.
Yeah, they did a lot of Magnus PA, but it doesn't look like a very good PA game to me, to be honest.
With Lich Armor in there and a Shaker to mess you up when you go in melee range.
It's a bit scary.
Chaos Knight, maybe?
Yeah, they did some CK, they did some PA. There's the anti-mage that they don't mind going for it. I think it can fit here. I mean, we'll see, obviously, if they want to go for it. It is a decent matchup against Morphling, but it just depends how good of a game they get. Morphling can also be a great hero against AM.
Oh,
that's the AM ban, so that's out of the equation.
Alright, so Darkseer, they're sticking to GH on the Earthshaker, of course. Mind Control going to pick up that Darkseer. Not really picking that Vision here that we thought, you know, with the Furion ban, I maybe expected them to go for Beastmaster, but picking up a bit more team fight.
I think this is leaning towards the dual lane mid though, because Lich with Darkseer, it's a pretty weird lane. It tells me that the Lich do not want to go off lane.
Definitely.
Most likely, so...
This looks like a super lane-focused opening for Team Liquid.
It really is.
There's going to be a melee hero that Darkseer gets to lane against too.
Yes. And
which is nice.
That's a great point.
I mean, you're looking at the Darkseer and now you're thinking about heroes that can like relieve pressure. You don't want to pick TBs anymore. It's a lot of pressure against Darkseer. You're looking at this jug, but then it's a jug into Morphling.
Do you think it's possible they would just go with a ranged hero and just kind of ignore the benefits of Empower?
It's possible, but
prefer melee.
We'll see. They still go for the PA.
Cool.
It's not necessarily the best against the Darkseer on the lane. It's a bit risky, but you know, it might work.
Well, for the first time ever, we're getting Phantom Assassin at this main event.
He's the best against the Darkseer on the lane. It's a bit risky, but
the lineups
you know,
are now locked in, so let's head to the casters to
begin
our final series of the day. Well, for the first time ever, we're getting Phantom Assassin at this main event.
Liquid versus
he's the best against the Darkseer on the lane. It's a bit risky, but
the lineups
you know,
are now locked in, so let's head to the casters to begin our final series of the day. Well, for the first time ever, we're getting Phantom Assassin at this main event.
Liquid versus
he's the best against the Darkseer on the lane. It's a bit risky, but
the lineups are now locked in, so let's
Titans here as they try to stay alive the final day.
I know you're trying to hype things up, but I read IX Mike on Twitter. He said that Boba rode on his coattails, so who knows?
Well, hopefully Mike decides to give him a little bit of a special sauce. Liquid, they're going to need it. As for LGD, they've got a ton of fans here in the crowd. This is a huge match. Winner moves on to the final day, will be in the top 3, and has a shot to go all the way.
Yeah, I just really love this draft coming out from Team Liquid. They allowed the other team to have the Magnus, and then the rest of the draft is all anti-melee heroes. The panel did a good job touching on this, but obviously, you got to empower melee core to actually get things done. Lich, great against that physical armor. You got the Necrophos with the Gold Shroud, Darkseer laning advantage, and of course, Morphling destroys melee carries at the end of the game through your kiting and your big burst damage. So, great draft coming out from Team Liquid, but this is departing somewhat of their kind of standard early mid-game kind of pushing style. They're just going ultra late game, and LGD traditionally very good in the late game. So I think that moving into this game, both teams have their own advantages and disadvantages when it comes to the playstyle. We'll see who's going to clutch it out.
Teams entering the field of battle now. An early ward planted down here by Liquid will scout out Ame as they get set for these early bounty runes. Of course, when we saw LGD yesterday, they ran this Victoria Kunkka and it had a huge impact. And LGD are looking for an opening here perhaps as they smoke up a bit late. Pretty rare for most teams to go for this type of smoke play. You generally see it when a team wants to catch their opponents off guard or perhaps as an underdog. They will get that hill ward down. LGD now sweeping from right to left and heading north. LGD have a ward here. They've got eyes on Matumba Man. They could potentially set up for a first
If
blood.
they land the shackle, that's like first blood.
It's about to be caught. The shackle's coming through. The blink is there. The torrent to connect. LGD will draw the first blood.
Beautiful smoke. Not only did they get the first blood, they also got the lane they wanted. They don't want to put the melee PA against the Darkseer. Instead, they're going to put it against Matumba Man, and I think Matumba Man needs to just walk bottom. There's no way he's going to actually make that lane happen yet, and he does. So lane switch now coming out from Team Liquid. They are already in a big disadvantage.
Yeah, if you ever have to get into a lane swap war, you want to be the team that moves first, especially as the lanes do start off here. So LGD going to be happy with that. They also got 3 bounty runes. All things looking up for them in the very early moments. We'll see GH coming in.
They know that
middle laning. They know he skilled up the arrow.
Exactly, yeah.
They could try for an early first blood play, but also Kuroki, no Frost Blast, so perhaps not just yet.
No waveform either. Level 1 here from Team Liquid is actually quite weak. And
seems like just a little zoning then from GH.
Yeah.
Maybe looking to punish, maybe if he gets out too far. So with the way the lanes have shaken out now, we see Matumba Man go down bottom. They're going to potentially try to set up here a mind control in the top lane. They make their move. The Shackle's coming through. Torrent to connect. Darkseer in danger. Not yet level 2. It's going to be a second kill for LGD. But while that was happening, Liquid struck back in the middle lane. They do take maybe down. So 2-1 across the board.
Normally, Kunkka is really considered as a weak laning hero, but you can see that the Shadow Shaman is definitely enabling him. Shackle does a ton of damage, and then the follow with Torrent. You're looking at like 3 to 4 seconds of chain stun, and not many heroes will be able to survive that in this stage of the game.
They've identified a weakness here in the LGD Vision game. There is no ward towards the bottom half of the map. They might be able to set up on 11 after making that play mid. He's very low in the trees, and GH gives him a quick thwack, but won't pursue further. Matumba Man a bit slow as a follow-up hero. So it looks like LGD are going to settle down in their own right. They rotate off of the offensive tri-lane, leaving just Ame on his own here, top Lumi.
Mind control, seeing that now the supports have rotated to the bottom. After seeing Yao porting to the bottom, then the Darkseer feels a little bit safe to walk to the top. But he always has to react where Yao is. If Yao disappears off the map, then the Darkseer also has to do so, because he's going to just die to Shackle Torrent again.
So Liquid do continue to rotate. They're now going to leave that Shaker down in the bottom lane. Mind Control still in his own. It's LGD coming up top, and they actually get the connection here on the Torrent. Mind Control does have the Surge available, but there may be X in play, so he's just trying to hoof it back, and as he moves, he gets around the tree line, but LGD were ready to get a follow-up Torrent. Damage coming through. They might net yet another kill. Indeed, they do. Taking the Darkseer down. Liquid are struggling to deal with this Victoria Kunkka early on, Lumi. It's been such a high-impact hero through them throughout the event. Perhaps his best support.
And we're seeing the weaknesses of the Liquid draft in terms of lane. We're going to see a Shackle coming through. There is a Skewer back where can he actually make it work? Torrent is going to hit Skewer back right into the tower. Matumba Man's going to take a hit or two. Victoria on a killing spree. Wow.
GH looking for the save there. Actually cut off any chance of retreat with that fissure. And LGD, every rotation working out thus far. As far as the lanes go, CS looking relatively even here with Miracle, a bit of an edge early mid, but elsewhere the core is relatively on the same pace. So we do see Victoria now setting up on GH bottom, X in, just some harassment from him. They're settling into a tri-lane of their own. They might even send 11 up top, leave him 1v1 against the Darkseers. They're going to have a fish. Torrent connects. Matumba Man could be in danger. They can't afford to lose him again. He gets body blocked a little bit, tries to make it back to the trees, but not long range. Shackles. Yao, no mercy. 11 neither, and they might get a goal. LGD, got to run now. 11 low, being pursued out. Kurogi, can he finish him up? They get one. They'd love to get 11-2. The cooldown lacking. The mana also on GH as 11 TPs out, barely escaping. So LGD, they do go for the lane swap, but first, they set up that additional kill bottom.
Yeah, the Team Liquid strategy is just basically power farm Miracle in the mid lane with the Lich and Morphling. And granted, he is doing great, but they're paying a lot from these other lanes. The Lich now also forced to TP to other lanes to help out the lanes. I think LD, every time we cast a Lich game, this always seems to happen. The Lich is just feeling so much pressure on the other side of the map, and he's forced to help out.
This Lich, though, getting his early experience. Kuroki is level 4. He's participated, in fact, secured 2 of their kills. So definitely not struggling the way some of those other Liches were. His rotations have mostly paid off.
Definitely, but it's not game plan A, right? Like, this is more of like...
It's an excellent execution of plan B.
Right.
At least for now. They're going to bring a third hero in mid. Can they set up on Mr. Miracle? Already he's got the 2 points in Morph. He's a pretty difficult kill. LGD, I'm sure they want to go for this. Oh, they might try. He waved in. Now an opening. Maybe he's going to pounce. Shackle's connected. He's low on mana. Torrent's there as well. Where's the support? GH coming. It's too late. Miracle down again. LGD continue to rack up the kills.
The most impressive thing about LGD is that they always make these kind of double support rotations. You know, once they get level 2, once they get level 3, they always double smoke up and then just go for a gank. It's so hard and so dangerous to play against this playstyle, even if you know about it, because which lane are they going to go to? Is it mid, top, or bottom? And Miracle, not paying respect to that ganking pattern, is going to pay for it.
Still farming quite well here in the middle lane as Liquid continue to rub GH around, but you know, over towards mid, you can see Miracle getting bullied a little bit. Kuro keeps him in fighting shape, at least for now. So the lane do-si-do continues. Liquid just constantly shuffling these lanes up. LGD moving a lot, but more going for active kills. Seems like Liquid is largely in reaction mode for the time being.
In fact, I don't think Team Liquid, every time they went for a kill, or rather, sorry, if LGD went for a kill, I don't think they ever missed a kill, right? They're just converting every single time. And now that mid lane I said that was doing well for, you know, Miracle, the Mirana is actually doing quite well despite laning against the Lich. So you can make an argument that LGD is winning all 3 lane at this point. A very, very rough start.
If they are, it's a very mild advantage for now as the Torrent comes in and clip Miracle. It's only 1,000 gold advantage now. Of course, they do have Empower. They have a potential Turbo Farmer. And maybe he's going to tank a waveform here. Liquid's looking for a setup here with the Fissure, perhaps. They're going to lead with the next. Torrent as well, but it's GH from the Fog, who will interrupt, forcing them back on their heels.
Very good Fissure. That was going to be X right into an arrow that maybe was lining up, which would have definitely given them a kill.
So what's next, Lumi? We've seen a lot of the pick-off potential. You've got a Magnus PA on one side who can certainly clear those stacks. What are the team's game plans heading towards the mid-game now?
For LGD, it's going to be applying pressure to Team Liquid. Team Liquid, despite only losing about, in terms of 1,000 gold in net worth, they take a while to come online. So there's a lot of time for LGD to apply the pressure. Shaman, one of the best hero to do so early on, thanks to his level 6. And of course, Kunkka is going to be leading a ton of ganks with the X-Torn Bolt combination. And then you have cores like Mirana and PA. You don't need too many items on these cores to actually begin actively fighting. So the pressure is going to come online in about 5 minutes, probably even before that. And basically, Team Liquid just have to take it on the chin for a bit.
And one of the things we have talked about over the course of this tournament, we saw it come up a few times today, is how many ways teams have to initiate fights. And at least in this early stage, it feels like LGD have a lot more options. They can lead with the Moonlight Shadow. They can set up with an X-Torrent. They can even just fire an arrow and hope that it connects. You've got, not to mention, the Shackles, the Hex, even the Blink RP later. Whereas Liquid, it does feel like they need the Blink Daggers or they need a really good smoke to get on top of heroes with the Shaker into a vacuum echo or something along those lines. So LGD with more tools to start the fights.
Yeah, what you're describing is the ease of execution, right? Like, a lot of things have to go correctly for Team Liquid, whereas, you know, LGD could even just fire off a Stifling Dagger into an X, into an arrow. They could chain it very freely.
Here's a good start. It's an invis Shaker with the Iron Shell.
Did they notice that?
He burned away for just a split second there. It's actually a dire scan coming out to make sure nobody's sneaking around. As Liquid potentially looking to dive this tower, but it's a risky go. PA with the phase boots already picked up, so they're going to send GH back to the jungle. They are trying to farm these enemy stacks. For now, those carries getting good farm. PA and Morphling neck and neck. But it's just this Magnus Lumi. Look how much he's getting. 3,300 net worth on 11. This is an incredible start for a Magnus.
By the way, I do want to point out that Dire's scan that was used on the bottom lane, it looked a little bit awkward. They were scanning right on top of themselves. What Team Liquid was worried was for a Moonlight Shadow initiation. All 5 heroes or LGD was missing off the map as a scan popped out, and they were just afraid that they were right on top of him. Maybe gonna repel him back.
Oh, he is tanking the Starstorm here now, maybe being held in position for the time being. He has to leap back the arrow forward. Good dodge by Miracle, steps away, forces him on his heels. He's for now, and we do see a wrap around the Shaman potentially. Just looks like a ward being planted for now by Yao. Still no level 6 on the Shaman, nor on the Kunkka. All supports about to score their big ults. And then things could really accelerate.
Yeah, Toma's coming up as well, so I imagine Shaman might pick it up, although Kunkka also wants level 6, so we'll see where it goes to. Miracle going for this rune here.
Oh, if that arrow hits, you know there's a turret coming right after. But might not be enough to kill the Morphling anyway. There's no Ancient Apparition. There's no way to really stop that Morph, no Doom either, so they can chain stun him, but he can still toggle that on.
GH going for this bounty rune.
Nice victory for the Totem. They'll snag the bounty, rotate on towards the bottom lane. They have sent the Darkseer back to the jungle. So you can see Liquid trying to get a little bit extra, but Ame with a rather painful love bite. Gonna force GH on his heels, lobs in the dagger.
GH's gotta be careful. Siphoning Dagger's cooling down in 2 seconds. He could actually chase for this. He blinks in.
Dagger getting ready. Mind control there though with the save.
Dagger.
Looking for the turnaround.
He's a juke.
Chasing. Ame's getting
the juke! Oh, the crit!
Gets the crit.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, salvaged.
GH made that play. Like, he did everything that he needed to do to survive that, but just somewhat unlucky with that crit.
Except he didn't pray to the RNG gods. Classic error.
Maybe one of the best PA players in the world for them crit skills.
That's how you beat the open AI. You just pray to the RNG gods. So LGD, I can't believe how much this Magnus is getting. This might be the best start 11 has had this tournament. Already blinked, he was gonna go for an Iron Town. He's like, you know what, I don't need it. I'm just going straight for the blink. Already 1,600 gold on a mag, even stealing creeps now from Matumba Man.
I think this is going to be a fight here. X
starting to start, RP to follow, now the turret coming through, connection with the boat, he's still alive, stays in fighting shape, Matumba Man turns it, cracked that Ghost Shroud, arrow magic wand, but the arrow threading the needle, maybe does get interrupted, Echo to the rescue, perhaps, still goes down, a 1-for-1 exchange, and now they look for more, the crits come raining down, Ame bringing the pain, and slicing up Mind Control. Now GH for the turn, the Totem flies in again. Fissure back the other way. So far, a 2-for-2, 2 cores for 2 cores, and Kuro with the Chain Frost ready. Almost had Ame at critical HP.
Matumba Man with the full magic wand popped the Ghost Shroud and went to full HP. We're gonna watch it one more time. They changed him with just a tiny bit off, and that tiny second got off the spell, back to full HP, and his teammates come right at, oh, the arrow too.
That could have been ugly.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Yao finding openings here. In the meanwhile, as he does shove in this bottom lane, drop the wards. You can see the tail end of this fight where Ame gets a couple of clutch crits. Again, GH still able to do a good job at turning these fights around for a Shaker who hasn't really been given a whole lot of space. After that fight, he's 1,000 gold towards his Blink Dagger. And we have seen some big Earthshaker performances this tournament. XXS from the offlane comes to mind. GH, probably his 3rd signature hero after the IO the Coddle. Some have chosen to ban it over those 2.
But let's not forget about the other offlaner in this game, Darkseer. I mean, Mind Control has been relatively silent so far, but he's also very near finishing his mech, just about 1,200 off. And once he's got that team fight that we saw earlier on the top lane will definitely turn in the favor of Team Liquid.
3 Liquid heroes top, expecting some aggression to come from LGD, and indeed LGD are jumping in. The Scythe is there, brings Victoria down. Now the arrow, a swing and a miss. Liquid can retreat, but here comes the Starstorm. Not enough damage. Matumba Man getting away to safety. Mind Control still shoving in the middle lane, it looks like, while the Morphling split pushes bottom, so Liquid get the Kunkka kill. They get a tower as well. They really start to pull ahead here after that series of events. Now a 2,000 gold lead. Impressive turnaround from them.
You can see how important it is for LGD to actually chain stun the Necro and kill him before he gets a kill. 2 fights in a row now, he gets a kill right before he dies. And that second fight, you saw how much HP he was able to regen after the Reaper Scythe kill, and as a result, he survives that engagement. Moving forward, LGD needs to lock down Matumba Man and just get the burst kill. Instead, if that doesn't happen, he gets the HP regen, he gets the mech from the Darkseer, and the fights can get really ugly for LGD.
Lumi, talk to me about the Morphling pick this game. Just how good of a Morphling game do you think it is?
Well, there's not any inherent silences. You know, the Morphling game that we saw previously, sure, you got the Strength Morph, but then you're silenced throughout all of that spell. So Miracle, to me, he is going to be able to Strength Morph even through all of the disables that LG have. And I think at a certain point in this game, eventually he will just overcome everything. He will be able to even kill the PA quite easily, in my opinion, depending on the item selection that he goes for.
Speaking of said PA, already one Mithril Hammer picked up for Ame, is going to be rushing the Deso. Of course, does have the Empower to fall back on for some turbo farm in the mid game. LGD smoking up, looking to make a play here. They do have the Shaman wards ready again, but Miracle lurks in the tree line. He's going to send an illusion out to the lane. Will this bait LGD in? Are they going to fall for it? Good micro, and now they commit. In goes the dagger, X, Torrent, both. Psych. Miracle giggles from the trees. The arrow came crashing rather close to his real hero. But now the turnaround. Liquid know that without that boat, LGD are a bit vulnerable. They want to get out of here, but will they get out of here quickly enough? Yao could be cut off. Kuroki streaming in. Doesn't seem like they know Yao's taking the walk of shame back home. LGD quick to respond, though. They have to blink on the Magnus, and now they're looking for the top lane. GH, how quick will his reactions be? Will LGD get the jump? They're going to move in, but it is nighttime, and just calmly lumbering past GH is not scouted here by Victoria. He gets away to safety, and meanwhile, Liquid. They found Yao in the mid lane.
Reaper Sight.
An insta Reaper Sight. Off with your head, says Matumba Man. Liquid finding a nice kill.
I really like the way that Matumba Man has played this game so far. Every time his Reaper Scythe has come off cooldown, he's actively looking to use it. He's not really playing the one here. That position goes to Miracle. Miracle is going to be the ultimate carry of the game. And Necrofalls, even though you don't make too many rotations, standard game of Necro, this game he is, because he needs to create the space for the heavier farmer, the Morphling.
He's gone for the Veil. Excellent pickup for the mid-game burst, and they certainly have the magic damage to follow this up, even later, should Miracle opt for that Ethereal Blade build. As he does continue to muscle down this tower in the bottom lane. Quick replicate away, back to the river and away to safety. Meanwhile, Victoria having a bit of a fish here. They found Kuro in the trees. Arrow comes through. Starstorm to follow up. She stays alive. Chain Frost to bounce, and PH hits not enough damage. They will get out, at least for now, and potentially Mind Control in danger. Ame daggering forward, has to beware the Shaker. The Dust getting popped out, pulled back in. Fissure is there and shuts down Victoria on the high ground. Now, Miracle looking for more. Chasing after maybe. Diving him deep. Diving him deep. Misses uphill, and he still commits. He's got to wait for him ready, but the crit comes out. Miracle may overextend here. Wave just gets him. Now TP's away. Miracle's out of there.
Huge play here coming out from Team Liquid. LGD is the team that's supposed to bring their aggression. They have all their tools. They got the RP, they got the bow, and of course they got the Serpent Wards, but it's Team Liquid that's making all of these active smoke ganks up to your Ancients, up into your jungle, and all of a sudden GH has a Blink Dagger finish, 17 minutes. I think it's go time for Team Liquid.
So crucial that he dodged that gank attempted by LGD. They wanted to deny this blink, slow it down. I guess you know who's in the lead right now.
What a strong timing that Team Liquid has. Not only is that Blink Dagger finish, you got the mech on the Darkseer. He's going for a blink of his own. We're going to see some wombo combo team playing. Blink, vacuum, blink, echo. Oh, it's going to be beautiful.
LGD do have the boat. Potentially could interrupt that combo, just giving them the extra survivability if it's timed right, but it's just
cast it fast enough.
It's such a quick initiation from Liquid. Very tough to time it right.
And then, of course, Matumba Man could be coming in here with the Reaper Scythe as well. He's saving up 2,500 gold. Normally, a lot of the Necros we've seen so far in the tournament has opted for things like Pipe. Sometimes you see Blink. I wonder what he's going to be going for this game.
GH executing 11, solo kill on the Magnus. That, I believe, was the Blink debut. Puts him at level 12. Well, that great start the Magnus had. He was once highest in net worth, second highest. He's now just barely ahead of the Shaker. GH stepping up on the big stage.
Queuing up for that Yule Scepter. Very good item choice against Kunkka. You don't want to get X-Torrent comboed, so one of the easiest way to get out of it.
Can be a good way to kite potentially as well. We're going to see a Dagon pickup on this Necro. So pure burst damage from Matumba. As they set up in, they dive on Ame. There's the Scythe coming through. The damage is there. Liquid get another one. The hits just keep on coming.
And the most impressive thing about the Team Liquid performance so far is how easy they're making it look. You know, something that you brought up earlier, it's so easy for LGD to chain one disable into another. Liquid is working on Blink Fissure, and that's pretty much it. And despite of that, they're still making kills happen everywhere, and now they're going right into the Roshan.
EA, no buyback. It, on paper, is a freebie for Liquid. We'll see if LGD dare contest. They lob in the arrow. They do get the stun of Mind Control here. But the Frost Armor keeping everyone
Here comes
very
the Mag.
durable. Mag is back. They lack the damage without the PA, I want to say, Lumi, but they may try for it regardless. We've seen so many clutch Roche fights. So many teams that have given their all around the pit, and the Roche drop.
Arrow?
It's gonna hit! It connects on the Morphling. That's not enough on its own. 11 tries to get in. Now the RP. The wards get dropped. The trap is sprung. Age is stolen by 11. Radiant take the fight. Can they take the win? Now Shackley Miracle, but he's still healthy. In the pit he stands. LGD are gonna lose another. Shaman down. They locked one in the corner, and they will slay the Kunkka. That's 3 in total. They lost their Aegis. They lost their Roche. But maybe an opening to take an objective now with the RP committed, the wards down, and at least for 10 seconds here, the hero advantage.
That was a definite LGD victory, right? Okay, PA still died. He died before the fight happened, so let's not count him in. You lost a Shadow Shaman and Kunkka, and you stole the Aegis. 11 still has the Aegis right now. That arrow hits, and it's go time for LGD. Perfect combination going in. He takes the Aegis, and they decide to take a fight, which perhaps was a curious decision there. Didn't actually end up working out, but they only lost your 5 and your 4. Great turn event here for LGD.
Yeah, it's definitely a huge win for them. Liquid really want to have that Aegis on the Morphling so they could be sieging, maybe put it on the Necrophos, and he could just be tanking up in front. But now,
mid lane,
going in again, the Scythe is there. Takes Same down. Same combo. Liquid keep on delivering just as soon as the PA respawns, tries to get back to farming.
I really feel for him, man.
Down again.
A lot of time to think about life decisions as you get Reaper Scythed.
He really wants this BKB now. So much magic damage from Liquid.
I mean, does BKB even help? The way that Liquid is chain stunning him, you could have the BKB, but you just will be dead. I think it's more important for LGD to have the vision advantage, as well as having teammates actually bow him out.
Mind Control is going to blink here onto Yao. There is some backup coming in. Kuro has the Chain Frost, back him in. Now blast him up. Still chasing forward. Torrent gets locked in, but it won't help Yao. Gets off the Hex, gets off the nukes. Mind Control scores the kill. Yao down. And now Liquid crushing in, but meanwhile, GH is able to force them on their heels, and all the while the Morphling split pushing bottom. The Roche fight, sure, very bad for Liquid, not the result that they were hoping for. They got a couple kills, but they gave up that Aegis. But the game plan, Lumi, Liquid want to be finding these small pickoffs and split pushing with the Morphling, and the game plan is being executed.
Yeah, LGD definitely wants to group up and go for a smoke of their own, but unfortunately they keep just losing random heroes here and there, and thus their smoke timing has been really delayed. We've seen the Blink Dagger picked up on 11. You keep saying that this is one of his best offlane games, but how many RPs have we actually seen apart from that Roshan one? LGD has never really been able to, do something proactive.
Just doesn't seem like they've been blessed with the vision. The early laning stage they had it, got the first blood, but it's been quiet ever since. They Moonlight Shadow out of the base. Their dire vision also pretty lacking right now. But they are playing safe. Mind Control off in the trees in the bottom lane. 4 Liquid heroes clustered up mid. Looks like Liquid are trying to bide their time as Miracle farms towards the E-Blade.
You want to talk about LGD's itemization a little bit. I really like what they're going for. You see the medallion that's coming out from the Shadow Shaman. You want to itemize against the Frost Armor of the Lich. Same idea here from the Desolator of the PA. And also one more important item to talk about is Mirana going for that Diffusal Blade. Ghost Shroud on the other side is going to be super annoying, so maybe he's going to knock that one out before it gets too annoying.
Obviously gives you a lot of stats, very efficient when you have a Magnus with Empower. So LGD still trying to crack these towers.
Oh, they're going to fall for this illusion again.
Are they going to get baited in?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Oh, boy. Even the bow committed. That is 2 illusion baits this game alone.
And look, immediately, Liquid says, low, let's smoke gank, let's go. They don't have their big ults.
If LGD have their wits about them, they should know they need to run now.
And they are.
Back to the base, but still, it's going to be freedom for Liquid around the map.
I think that's going to be a tier 2, right? I think Team Liquid feels confident enough to push into the tier 2. Despite, Miracle's not even that big yet. He's still 1,000 go away from the shotgun.
All right, 2 more illusion baits and all the outer towers are down. If this is the pace that Liquid can keep up here. Sure, why not? Certainly seems to be working. Meanwhile, split pushing maybe tries to slow things down in the bottom lane, but it's Miracle doing the heavy lifting mid turret. Having a fish, they'll try to break that linkage, but realistically, you are not going on this Morphling without RP. And so another tower falls. Liquid up against the Shaman. Have another look. Oh, this is just cruel to 11. Make him think about his mistakes. But eyes on the prize here for the Liquid boys. They've got a big tower advantage now, Lumi.
Yes, they do. And they got the Roshan control advantage as well. Let's talk about which team has the better Rosh lineup. I think LGD still has the edge. They got the Moonlight Shadow. They can scout easily with Arrow. We saw how effectively they fought with their AoE next to the Roshan as well. And they could easily steal it by committing the Mass Serpent Ward as well as Medallion of Courage. Whereas I think Team Liquid definitely wants to rely on a Reaper Scythe kill first before they go into the Roshan pit, which they have been getting.
Well, Liquid have a cannon now. Miracle has picked up his E-Blade. Throw that together with the Dagon.
And the Reaper Scythe.
And the Reapers. You are 100 to 0ing pretty much anyone. And the thing for LGD is, I mean, I mentioned the boat, but really there's not a good save. Do they even have like no Force Staff? So
yeah, you want things like Force Staff, Glimmer Cape, but nobody's working towards those items.
Glimmer Cape sounds amazing right now. It feels like LGD needs something like that to even have a chance at keeping a hero alive who gets chain stun.
It's just one of those situations where you need a ton of items, but like you're mentioning, LGD hasn't really been getting the towers, so some of these supports are just really, really poor. The mech at least is finished on Victoria, so he adds a little bit more to that save department.
Well, mirror movements here from both squads, but LGD, the slower gang, as they did drop a ward, they tried to smoke up, but Liquid already did the same thing. They went head on, and Miracle chewing through this tower top is going to bring down the last outer tower. LGD, the map starts to shrink for them now. They're not yet held completely in the base, but still it feels like Liquid with the solid map control edge. It's only these LGD wards that can help mitigate that, and they do have some good ones, Lumi. It's starting to feel like Liquid could really use a gem.
Mirana walks up the hill and just gets 100 to 0, like you mentioned. The shotgun wasn't even there. That was just Veil, Dagon. I think Chain Frost was committed. And of course,
imagine if the E-Blade is thrown out in the midst of that. I don't know what LGD do if they just keep on giving up these kills. They have what seem like pretty good wards around the map, but somehow Liquid are always finding the holes. They're finding the weaknesses and they're punishing.
I think the tough part here for LGD moving forward is how to break high ground. I mean, you're able to get these random pickoffs here and maybe get the outer towers, but going up high ground against X-Bolt as well as RP, and of course the dangerous skewers is going to be somewhat difficult. I think Team Liquid, if they feel a little bit more reserved, they should wait for the Aegis. Of course, they could also just rely on the pickoff and then go for the high ground, which is seemingly what they're waiting for right now.
Well, they are farming all the while, now up to a 12,000 gold lead. Liquid continue to pull away here. Slow but steady progress being made now as 11 with the Shadowblade still trying to find his first opening of the game. Liquid are looking to set up mid. They're going to send in the replicate. Quick jump forward. The shotgun comes through and 11 will dodge away. Now they break the linkage. The dagger connects. About half of Miracle's health gone with that. Still they look to chase the Echo. GH with the interruption. Now the follow-up and all hell breaks loose. Still 11. He was fishing for the RP. He did cancel it. Ame, though, he's committed his BKB. He's not killing anyone. The Chain Frost forcing 11 away. Trying to bring down Kuro. Will he even do that? No, he won't. LGD escape, and now Somnus left to the Wolves, left to the Darkseer, left to the Fissure.
The back line.
A clean 3-0 sweep.
They committed the Mass Serpent Ward as well as the Mirana Arrow and leaping in for the Morphling kill. But as I mentioned earlier, you could still strength more throughout all of that, and he did survive through it. GH came in to help, the Darkseer came in to help, and they win a 3-0 victory. And now it's high ground.
Such a clinical showing by Liquid here in game one thus far.
They still have RP.
They do, but look at the spread. It's so hard to get the initiation. The skewer, however, that could be better. Good jump in, but 11 blasted in the face by Miracle. No chance he gets out of there. Now the PA, no BKB available, used it earlier in the last fight, can be controlled, trying to interrupt. Victoria looks to save the day, and now the RP. The buyback was blown. 11's gonna get something out of this. Chasing forward towards the throne. Liquid look for the reset. If they can just walk out cleanly, it's a huge win for them. They maybe lose the Shaker. That's still all right. Miracle has his eyes on this raid. Rax is about to drop. 11, second time. Sweet and bada, and that's a miss. Liquid now still trying to retreat, but the X's, they keep on catching them, bringing down the Darkseer. Nonetheless, they got the Rax. They force out the Magnus buyback, and they do get out with the cores.
Huge Team Liquid victory. Tough defense here for LGD, but they got to make sure they could only really fight with RP and BKB intact. We saw the RP coming in. It was 3-man RP. Unfortunately, at that time, I believe PA just took a shotgun to the face, so she couldn't attack.
And her BKB was on cooldown as well. If she has BKB with Empower and they get that RP, yeah, like if all those conditions are met, then it's potentially 2-3 kills. But barring that, it gets tricky. And Lumi, it's a PA against Frost Armor.
Yeah.
So it's not even guaranteed Ame can dish out enough damage, as he is not ahead in terms of item progression.
And also moving forward, it's going to be relatively easy for Team Liquid to position themselves in a way where they don't get 3-man RP. You just put the Morphling in the front, or you put even the Necrophos in the front. They do enough damage to these buildings that you can only commit that 1 or 2 heroes in the front. The rest just stay back. Make sure you have the mech ready. Make sure you have GH's counter initiation ready. And it's going to be tough for the 3-man RP that the 11 has to look for at this point.
It felt like even the dream way for LGD to start that fight, right? You want to start with the Blink Skewer rather than committing the RP early so the Shaker can't just interrupt the combo. And they still got run over. So Fearsome going to the next fight. Gem was picked up in the midst of all that, so Matumba Man now can try to keep that map control advantage for them. These wards are likely to be eradicated in relatively short order. LGD still looking to creep out of their base. They want to catch Liquid off guard. They've got a ward. They've got the vision, but they don't have the range. Liquid back away. Liquid know they can be slow here. They can be patient. Let the Darkseer do his thing top. Let Matumba Man just hold the mid line, and Miracle can be off to the races in the bottom lane, shoving it in. Going back to the woods.
There is a world that LGD could just walk into Roche and just steal it. They have so much physical damage with that PA, they could do it quite quickly, especially with the medallion of the Shaman.
There's also a world in which they get baited by an illusion again. Here he comes, Ion Shell straight in the pit. Surely third time will not be the charm for Liquid. Surely LGD won't fall for this. But they learn, it's tempting, it's juicy.
All right, they hex it. Get out of my face.
Oh, come on, yeah. You know you wanted to ward trap it.
PA. Just letting some daggers loose.
There's going to be a mind game play, Lumi, this game, where it's actually the real hero, and they're not going to go on it because they're just so used to getting baited out. But Liquid, no mind games now. Straight down the middle lane. X, Torrent, Boat, big commitment arrow, puncturing the Necrophos. Can they bring him down? Will he get off that Ghost Shroud? So low! He's dead! Huge ping, but GH answers back. Totem into the LGD heart. RP was there. Connects on 2. Can they bring down Miracle? The BKB's dead, and now a bouncing is the chain frost. Miracle bulldozing his way through 11. That's 4. Can he get the 5th? It's
yes, he can.
It's about to be an ultra. GH denies him, but it's a full 5-man wipe, and now Liquid into the pit. Aegis and Cheese, their prize.
They lose 5. They lose Roche. Then Mid-Rax is going to be going down. The critical thing for me in that last team fight is that Ame popped his BKB and did absolutely nothing with it. He went for the initial kill, but after that, he just got fogged by GH. As soon as he turned onto the Morphling, BKB ended, and he just got blown up.
But Mind Control has a game 2 to play. He's already just poking on this mid. Rax will bring the melee down with the help of Miracle. Where are the buybacks? There's nothing on the Magnus. There's nothing on the PA. It might be 2 full lanes by the time LGD can rejoin. And with this Morphling's closing distance, the range he can attack from, LGD have to be careful not to give up a free kill before that fight even truly begins. So Liquid, they grab the second melee, they turn back for the second rage. 2 lanes of Rax are theirs. 1 till the Megas.
RP is still down for 45.
I think Liquid, you go for more, Luke.
Yeah, I think you can.
Top lane's even pushing in. How convenient.
I think Miracle, what he's looking for is a quick kill with that Ethereal Blade.
He's almost got a butterfly at this point.
He's so rich.
This Morphling is gigantic, and he's doing it against a PA with Empower, but there's just been so many kills, It's so many successful fights.
I mean, how often have we even seen PA farm with Empower? Every time he goes out to farm, he dies.
Just gets blasted.
So look at this team fight again, and look at Ame's positioning. He pops the BKB, and he's going to go in for that Necrophos kill. But afterwards, he just does no damage. Thinks about walking left, thinks about walking right, and as a result,
he like wanted to go on the Lich as a follow-up, and then he's maybe thinking about GH, but GH has already used Echo, already gotten a kill, so really doesn't even matter. And just even a few seconds of hesitation, it's already too late.
Yeah, Morphling's damage output is so big that you hesitate for a second or two, especially during your early BKBs.
The problem with running the PA at like when you're playing from this disadvantage is PA is somewhat like a Sven, all about those quick burst kills early in the fights, or just being so far that you can just chase and snowball, but you can't burst a Morphling, not with this lineup it doesn't feel, unless he makes a horrible error.
Yeah, and Team Liquid is doing a great job itemizing against that burst kill. You know, they're getting HP items,
they have crossed armor already.
Yeah, they got, you know, mech and greaves and all that stuff, so as the game moves on, it gets harder and harder for a PA to actually search for those burst kills, especially when you're so behind.
Now an item that can really get Phantom Assassin fits as well, as the Silver Edge is completed on GH. He hasn't even really been needed to keep her down, but this item alone can just ruin a PA.
I mean, let's not forget that Enchant Totem also gives you 100% True Strike, you know, when you give her the totem, so we learned that from the group stage.
Yes, it is. It is not fun to be on the PA side of that matchup if you're behind. They are showing Ame here top. Liquid content to do this slowly, deliberately. It might buy time for the Magnus buyback, but truthfully, Lumi, his buyback doesn't matter. He's got 1 RP. It's either the first life or the second. He's unlikely to have a big impact with 2.
Yeah, and all Liquid needs to do is just send Miracle in the front and just hit the building. Don't need to overcommit. Don't need to clump up as 3 or 4.
Arrow will connect, but Miracle just casually giving himself a bit of extra strength to tank through this, and now the Scythe comes through. Glimmer was there.
Yep.
Good save by LGD. Even Miracle diving in deeper. He secures the kill, bringing the Shaman down. That's their Hex. That actually frees things up a lot. Miracle can be much more confident as he chews through that tier 3. Looking for the melee now. This might be the Magus. They're going to blink in, and he jumps forward deeper into the front lines, but he gets pulled back. He's being chunked down rather rapidly here. Torrent, BKB, how low can you go? Miracle still fighting this one out. Still has the...
How is he still alive?
Waves away. They can't kill the man.
Element still has that RP.
They want
going to drop it here?
Liquid chasing Ame back, diving him almost to the well, and then they turn, and LGD are defeated here in game 1.
Wow.
GH all smiles in the booth.
I think the crazy thing to remember was that LGD were just getting wrecked in the laning stage. Remember, it was top was getting killed, bottom was getting killed. At a certain point, that Lich even had to TP in to help the other lane, but Miracle got what he needed. He got his 5 minutes of farm, and the great mid-game rotations of the Matumba man. So many Reaper side kills from him.
At least 3 or 4 times we saw that fissure into a Reaper site with a Bell. Quick kill on the PA. Just kept on happening. Matumba man is feeling it now, man. He's like a gladiator in the arena, raising those arms, willing the crowd on, and perhaps his team as well. Impressive stuff here from Team Liquid, but not over yet. They take game 1. LGD got some of their comfort picks, Lumi, and just didn't seem to matter.
I felt like they got somewhat trapped in the drafting phase. You know, the panel saying they don't like the PA pick happened, and you saw that LGD, once they got to a certain point in the game, they just couldn't compete against Team Liquid. But let's send it back to the panels, and let's see what they think.
Thanks, Lumi. Thanks, LD. I mean, that game looked terrible for Team Liquid for a little bit there. I mean, Kunkka and Rasta just murdering in lane. It seemed anywhere they went, they got a kill. And it just was like a 5-minute period where Team Liquid just seemed to skyrocket in mid-game.
It was a big core mismatch, I think. We talk about that a lot. The laning phase matters somewhat, but when you have like this Necrophos versus the Magnus, the Morphling who can't be killed by anything, this PA who can't really touch any of these heroes, it's really tough for you going into the mid and late game.
I mean, they had a big issue with that PA last pick, and the anti-mage ban was really good in hindsight because so you last pick PA, but you don't want to match the PA against the Darkseer on the lane, so then they dodge the lanes, and the thing that Liquid did is that they're shutting down LGD's playmaker. They're shutting down the guy that allows LGD to play how they play, and it's because he always has a good game. He's always willing to just like make stuff happen and react to what enemies are doing. But he's a bottom, like so low net worth and so low level, and he's just coming back, and the Lich just shut him down completely. And I mean, LGD, sure, they killed Necro a couple times, but Necro is not the hero that's going to win Liquid's game. It's Morphling. Morphling just wins that game alone, and that's what happened. And Morphling had a free game while shutting down maybe. It's brilliant laning and like idea. This Lich morph mid, super smart.
Yeah, super clear MVP in the form of Miracle on the Morphling. We've heard about Lich Morphling. Morphling struggling in mid, getting completely propped up by Lich with the ice armor, with just the hanging out all game long. And I mean, there was a period of time where I just went to get coffee. And I came back, and it was, what, 6-7 minutes into the game, and Morphling already had doubled Mirana's net worth.
They had one way to deal with that, is they needed the supports to help. If you actually send in the Kunkka and Rasta, they go for these smokes and stuff, and you end up tri-laning that lane. The LGD's lane is stronger. The problem is the PA has nowhere to go. He doesn't want to be matched against Necro on the lane, and he doesn't want to stay against Darcy either. So the supports kind of have to stay with PA, which is why I have a problem with last pick PA, and I think it's what brought the laning to be so rough for them and gave Morphling a free game pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, we saw in the first series that LGD played against Invictus, it was fast. LGD just got to dominate. And is this a big weakness that you think that exists for LGD? Is that if they don't quite get the good draft, they're going to struggle?
I think that they just need to think about the Magnus pick again. You're going to pick all physical damage, all melees up against Morphling, Lich, Earthshaker. You're going to lose. Like, you just can't go into the late game expecting to win in that position. So maybe you need to dial it back on the Magnus priority, or mix in some more magical damage.
Purge, I want to get your thoughts on the match. Things started off rough.
Yeah,
became amazing.
Started off a little rough for Liquid for sure. That was mostly due to the nice roaming that was coming out of LGD. They had a lot of great ganks. The Kunkka and the Shadow Shaman were consistently moving across the map. Unfortunately for them, it didn't give them a massive gold advantage, and that's usually because if it takes 2 to 3 heroes to actually get these early kills, that means that your other lanes are 1v1s for those time beings, and you're spending a lot of time moving across the map. So it gives you successful kills, but as long as Liquid occasionally gets some kills in return with TP responses, things like that, it makes a big impact. So in a lot of these early engagements, it turned into situations like this, where they usually got at least 1 kill in response. And those kind of things keep your net worth even, and make sure that in future fights that it isn't going to be completely one-sided. Right before the crucial Roche fight, the big thing I want to point out is just how many little red dots we have leading up until this moment. And the crazy part is 2 of those dots are when they were able to use Reaper's Scythes against the Phantom Assassin. That's why she's dead right now in this fight. And it looked like such a great fight for LGD to take. We've seen a lot of team fights like this so far in this tournament, where a nice boat comes in, catches 2 heroes. They even stole Aegis. Looked like one of the terrible Liquid Roshing moments. But the thing is, they had no follow-up damage. Even if PA was there, maybe they kill 1 or 2 more heroes. But at this point, like you guys pointed out on the panel, the Morphling was just too good of a pick and too difficult to kill.
Yeah, the Morphling just insane all game long, and even right there at the end of that clip. I mean, the Earthshaker is such a consistent pick in this entire tournament. We've talked so much about the Wisp Coddle on GH, but just the Earthshaker, we've been seeing him played in all sorts of different situations, just a huge success.
Kuroky's a smart captain, and he's proving to be an incredibly good drafter at this tournament. I think he's got the Magnus figured out. I want to see something else from LGD.
What is that? What would be the something else?
There's one trap that I really don't want LGD to fall in, and would make the game 2 pretty troublesome, is if they start overthinking the Shaker. I mean, GH is a great Shaker, he played really well, but to me this game is not about Shaker at all. It is, like you said, them exploding the Magnus pick and addressing what's LGD's weakness. If you shut down maybe, then they don't have a guy, like Magnus is not gonna bring them back in the game. Magnus is farming Blink, he's trying to get where he needs to get to have an impact on the game, and PA of course wants to farm. It's a PA against a lot of magic damage, like he needs BKB damage item anyway. So if this bottom has no game and the supports are struggling to find their ways in the game, they never get there.
I'm curious about the Queen of Pain ban that we saw come out of Team Liquid to prevent, obviously, prevent the Queen of Pain mid, which we've seen be one of the most common just neutral picks in the lineups.
Sure, it's a pretty safe hero to put mid. It doesn't really lose very many matchups. That being said, I don't think it really would have changed the game if they had Queen of Pain mid instead of Mirana. I think that their strategy overall just isn't going to work against high amounts of physical armor and elusive heroes that, first off, Necrophos going ethereal, immune to physical damage, Morphling being able to, massive amounts of agility. He's going to have massive amounts of armor, especially with the Frost armor. There's no damage in these lineups.
What can get pretty tricky for LG right now, they're 1 game down. You have to look at it this way. If they make another mistake when it comes to drafting of strategies, they're out of the tournament. It just ends. So you might find yourself in the position where you like start thinking, and just got echoed by this Shaker that had a good game, and then the Shaker pick, and it's a big hero for them, and you might be like, they're just too good with that hero, and you don't have enough distance to realize that it's about other things that they would realize for sure if they were staying, laying back and just watching the game.
I imagine this game they'll have first pick though, so they can still ban the Wisp and Caudle and then first pick the Shaker for themselves.
I hope they do that, because if they
So
have to
hard
play
not
another, if they have to play against Caudle or Wisp now, it's gonna get very tricky because it's so many other things that you have to think about when you're like at the highest pressure. It's really hard to do.
It's kind of funny to think about the fact that we've seen Caudle be amazing, we've seen Earthshaker be amazing, and we still haven't even seen Wisp on GH. And that's absolutely still up his sleeve. And one of the big questions I have for Jack over in Jack's corner is, what are the other strengths of LGD that they can rely on going up against Team Liquid in this particular situation? Because, as PPD said, it seems like Team Liquid has Magnus figured out.
Yeah, it's something that I think Liquid would be confident to at least try to play against one game and see how it goes. As far as LG, that's like one of their strategies they've used quite frequently. You could see something like an AA coming out next game. They've used that with a lane pairing, something like a CK, maybe a stronger lane presence this game. I think the crucial point of last game was really the RPs onto the illusions, because if you're playing Magnus with that kind of lineup, every time you commit the entire team to pick up this kill and you end up wasting the timing and then you can't fight on the map anymore, it's just too big of a backward trend. Like PA can't have that backward momentum. It feels like if you die once or twice and miss those kills, you can't take those fights anymore later on.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that happened, I think, 3 times in a row, almost a 4th time. And I mean, without those types of flubs, do you think that LGD's mostly okay?
Could be. I just think it was a really good draft from Liquid, and I think LGD do have some other things up their sleeves that they're going to try. I'm not sure if they'll go back to the Magnus again this game.
Now, since this is going to be tournament life for LGD, we've seen them continue to go through the lower brackets. We saw them dominate at the start of the day. How do you think they're feeling going into this match? Do you think they'll be able to stay calm and collected?
I think so. I think, again, this is like one of the happier teams and one of the more, in terms of chemistry, in terms of having fun and being relaxed. So I think they'll be all right going forward. I think they'll adjust pretty well to it. So, yeah, it shouldn't be an issue for them. And then they do have, they have a ritual as well that they've gone through every day. So apparently in the main event. So in the morning, they get hot dogs for breakfast. Hot dogs right down here on the floor with barbecue sauce. And then at night, they've been going to a restaurant called Din Tai Fung, a Chinese restaurant nearby. Apparently, the manager tells me that they've gone to the same place, sat in the same seats, and ordered the same food every night. So there's been a kind of ritual to keep that comfort, to keep every variable under control. And so we'll see if that works out for them.
And if not, at the very least, you woke up and ate hot dogs, which sounds awesome. Now, teams are coming out. It's going to be Team Liquid against LGD here in Game 2, heading back out to the main stage to get into the booths. And Team Liquid, despite the fact that they looked so strong and had such a strong draft, and increasingly over the course of the game, it looks like Team Liquid is showcasing more confidence in these matches. What's the weakness? How do you get an edge against Team Liquid in the draft?
I don't think they're doing anything unpredictable. I think they're just making really smart picks. So just, try to make some smart picks yourself. Don't corner yourself into doing one strategy. Pick something a little more vague in the first 2. Don't tell exactly what you're going for right away.
I mean, do teams fall into that trap of wanting too free of a win from the drafting and not just focus on doing standard, solid, straightforward picking?
I don't really know if that logic lines up very much, because doing something a little more vague and a little more standard might actually give you an advantage in the draft, rather than every team wants to win in the draft. That's the goal. The game is very much about strategy. It's very much about the heroes that you pick, and it's very much about how you use them.
It's very true. I mean, you saw some teams in this tournament approaching draft in a very unique way that we haven't seen in Dota before. E.g., what they did in this tournament was very special. Like, they had these picks where you get to it's one way to work also around the weakness of second pick. So second pick is a position you find yourself in where they pick a hero, you pick 2, so you already show more. They counter pick you once, right, because they have the first phase close pick. And then the second phase happens where you have to pick a hero and they get to react twice to what you're picking. So you're pretty much getting counter picked all the way to the last pick, which is why teams have developed an approach where they're trying to like kind of minimize the casualties and having heroes that can go anywhere, so they don't get in that they don't get counterpicked pretty much, and then now they get the last picks for themselves, and they can turn the draft around. I think LGD obviously would be great if they could do that, but I mean, I don't think their hero pool is like large enough for them to achieve something like this. I mean, it is something EG or even Liquid, they've worked on it past month, but LGD didn't, so.
I've seen it a bit from Newbie as well. I think LGD is just a little bit more narrowed in on the way they want to play, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's got them here. They're competing to get into top 3 and play on the final day at TI. The first game didn't go well, but I'm sure they'll make some adjustments and give it their best effort.
I think you're right about that.
Yeah.
I can't really think of that many heroes that they run even in like 2 different positions. Like maybe Shaker, maybe Tusk, and that's about it.
I mean, yeah, the Victoria guy, he wants to be on Kunkka, he wants to be on Night Stalker or Tuskar, most of the time, and that's pretty much it. I mean, he probably plays a lot of other heroes. I'm saying these are the heroes that they really want to play, and they have really like solid strategies around it. Maybe he's very versatile with his hero pool, but he wants to be able to have a big impact. And Liquid shutting down maybe is something LGD will have to address. They can't just let that happen again, especially not if they open the draft with a Magnus. You need your Quap or your Puck or whatever is going to be your tempo controller to make up for this greedy pick that is Magnus, and your carry just farming away. Like, you can't just let that happen. So maybe the Lich was a problem, maybe it wasn't. Maybe there's a way to answer the Lich. That's for them to figure out.
Yeah, I'm curious about maybe in mid lane, because you mentioned Super. Like, seems like no matter what happens, he winds up grinding his way forward with some straightforward heroes like DK. But does maybe really need to be one of those heroes that does some big flashy moves?
I think so. That's just kind of his playstyle. He's got that Sumail, that Miracle, that Ana kind of aspect to him. He's just a carry player who's playing out of the mid lane.
Well, it sounds like the draft has begun, and this could be the final match of the night. Doesn't mean that the show is over, though. We will be having a special performance at the end of the evening that you won't want to miss. But for now, let's head into Game 2 between Team Liquid and LGD.
Team Liquid versus LGD. Game 2.
Interesting. LGD favoring second pick over first pick, giving Team Liquid first pick and Earthshaker once again.
That means that they don't want the Shaker for themselves, so then they'd rather be in that position because they know what's coming. It's going to be a first pick Shaker.
Yeah, I like the variation with the Batrider. This hero is a lot more neutral. He's a little bit more. He has more options than a Magnus. I think he's a little bit more versatile, I guess is the best word for that.
They definitely got some confidence in it. I mean, they beat us twice with the Batrider. I can't recall if they played against IG. I don't think so. But they definitely got a lot of confidence in the Batrider. It was very dominating in like previous years that they played in the loser bracket.
Yep, Magnus still unbanned, but they've decided to get away from it.
And the Lich ban, definitely. Like,
yeah.
I felt like the Lich hurt them a lot last game. They don't want that to happen again. And having the Batrider, now it's a hero that offers more laning possibilities. So
yeah, and Yao I could see a game where Yao would actually take the Batrider. He used to be an offlane player himself, very, very comfortable on that Batrider hero. And they could still, go back to that Magnus, with their fourth pick and then fifth pick their melee hero.
I'm very surprised by the Veno pick. It's a very early Veno pick, and it's a very good laner, obviously, and you probably don't want to go in the Necrophos route against the Batrider because now you have one lane where the Necrophos cannot go. So Liquid, they always have this approach with Shaker where they're giving Matu something where he's not going to get in trouble. There's not going to be pressure on his lane. If anything, he's going to apply pressure, and it gives them complete freedom to decide which lane they want to focus on. Veno is a decent route. I'm not sure how good it is against Bat specifically. Necro is awful against Bat, that I know. So that's definitely their second go-to hero.
We'll curious what
they can punish it, yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious about your thoughts on this relatively early anti-mage ban.
Very common pick versus Venomancer. One of the most common, I would say. Very bad core matchup for Veno.
Yeah, Veno's helpless against anti-mage. You feel really bad playing that Veno against AM. That's for sure.
Also, just not a hero that LGD is afraid to go to. It's worked well for them, these hard carries.
This opener is pretty good from LGD because you don't know if it's a better support or it's what we just tackled earlier. Now it's harder for Liquid to just understand what LGD is going for and punish it straight up.
Yeah.
I like that from LGD. It's a better approach to the draft. They still gonna have to find a way for them to secure themselves the position, their comfort zone, which is like having a better late timing, not being pressured to just be too aggressive and do moves that they don't want to do.
What's Sebastian? What's a hero that you thought we'd see more of at this tournament that you haven't seen?
I thought we'd seen more of Beastmaster. It's a hero that I think has a lot of potential right now. I mean, we saw some, and we didn't see it at all in the group stages, and then we saw a couple here and there, LFY, Liquid picking it up. Yeah, it's definitely a very strong hero this patch, and a hero that I think is extremely strong is Brewmaster, but it hasn't been played. I don't think a lot of teams are comfortable playing that hero. It might appear at some point. I know it is a hero that Liquid is willing to run if it gets there.
Oracle.
So now they reveal a bit more. This is all 11 Battle Rider, obviously Oracle position 5. It's easier for Liquid to read what LGD wants to do, and it's the weakness of second pick right there. It's like you need to pick a hero. Are you going to pick your carry? It's pretty risky, right? It's just going to get countered. Are you going to pick your mid? It's very risky.
Yeah, most people go support. Gives them one more pick to see.
And this is when usually EG here, they would pick a support that could also be something else. So they keep pushing it to that stage. But LGD, obviously, their hero pool is a bit narrower, so they don't have a choice. They go for the Oracle, and now it all reveals itself.
Oracle's pretty fine though. It's you know, you can block out all that magic damage from Battlemancer and save your teammates.
It is a hero that can be abused by certain mind control heroes, I would say. I'm looking at Prophet. Very good heroes against these supports that can mess with LGD safe lane a lot. I think Liquid, they also run Veno safe lane, I mean off lane, if it comes down to that. But they were probably looking at what mind control would be playing right now.
I think Furion's a pretty good pick.
That's a very early Huskar pick. This is quite surprising, especially. It means that they already know what they want to get with it. Most likely Dazzle, I would say. It's not a hero that LGD can pick, and Oracle's out. These are the two most common Huskar combos.
Okay, so this is definitely a Dazzle pick coming, right? And they picked Huskar.
I would assume
first because they would worry about LGD stealing it from them.
Yeah, that's a pretty good guess, I would say. I mean, Veno, Shaker are two heroes that are pretty helpless against Huskar. Same goes for Battle Punka. Death Prophet. That's a very non-combo. Also, the Oracle DP, very dirty combo, if you ask me. And there goes the Dazzle. So yeah, it is definitely them, like these mind games going on. It is a great, for me, if you ask me, it's a very good Huskar Dazzle game so far. Extremely good.
Yep, Kunkka pretty much all magic damage. Same with Bat Rider. Death Prophet's gonna be picking up a little bit of physical damage, but not the best core up against Huskar.
I know for a fact that the Chinese teams, they seem to value Veno against Death Prophet for certain reasons. It is a hero that punishes what Death Prophet wants to do in the game, playing around movement speed a lot. So, although it is a pretty good Death Prophet Oracle game, I would just favor Liquid a bit in this draft so far. I think they did it pretty smartly.
Ben, what's some of your favorite carries to play up against Huskar?
CK is #1. I think CK is by far the best one. He struggles a lot versus AoE and a lot of, he struggles a lot with dealing AoE damage and against a lot of physical. Yeah.
It's a really good CK game. Really.
Aside from that, because I expect it to be banned, that's tough. I think PA is like pretty decent, but not so good versus the Earthshaker and Veno.
Yeah, they've got the last pick, so they'll be able to hopefully make a really smart decision.
I think it's a pretty good PL game also so far.
Just kind of dealing with that Shaker.
Yeah, Shaker is a bit annoying, but you have ways to deal with it. You just need someone to mess with the Shaker in the fight, and it's a pretty free PL game. Like PL versus Huskar Dazzle Veno is the dream PL.
And what about LGD? We've seen a lot of extremely powerful dead last picks that completely reshape the game. Do they have any options like that available?
They have to deal with the Huskar. They don't have enough physical damage right now. Huskar just has way too much survivability versus their first 3 picks, even a decent amount versus Death Prophet. So you really just want a very heavy physical damage core. If not CK, then maybe PA or Troll, which Ame really likes. I could potentially see them going for Terrorblade too. I don't really think as a Huskar you really want to jump in, even if you do have a Dazzle on your team. That's another option that I would consider.
I do like Terrorblade actually a lot. Huskar's got no way to deal with those illusions. You'd have to worry a little bit about Earthshaker blinking in, but Oracle could always have your back in those questionable situations.
Omni Knight, the final ban for LGD.
They're assuming that it's a Veno safe lane, which is a pretty good assumption. They can still run it off lane and pick something different. And it was not a Veno safe lane, so there it is. It's a Brood, Matumba Man Brood, and it's going to be most likely a Mind Control Veno. So now LGD is probably, you know, they have a couple seconds to like think about it. Again, they assume wrong. So now there's a lot of pressure for them to just decide which hero is the right one, because now they have to think about the Venom offlane and a Brood, which is a very annoying last pick.
And Ben, you've talked about this before. Team Liquid doing the not Dota draft.
Yeah, I guess you kind of want to pair the Batrider versus the Broodmother. That's going to be tough for them. And you have 10 seconds left, I think, of the last pick that you want to deal with Huskar and Broodmother. Not too many options left.
Pretty bold pick.
Pretty good.
They're lacking some carry.
I mean, both teams don't have great late game. This is one of the most unusual drafts that we've seen, that like their scaling's not that great on both sides.
A lot of magic damage on LGD.
Timbersaw, I think, actually nails 2 birds with 1 stone, though. Does very well versus Huskar and Broodmother. I didn't think of that many picks that could deal with both.
Yeah, I think, you know, looking at it now, I think there's definitely some possibilities that it can work out, but it is a little bit out there. But it'll definitely be interesting to watch.
Some unusual drafting coming out from these two teams, and currently LGD's tournament life is on the line as they are down 0-1. Will Team Liquid be able to close the day out and advance to the grand final day tomorrow, or will LGD tie things up?
Lumi, we have seen many a team in a big match fall prey to this dazzled Huskar. And then, because it just wasn't quite enough cheese, they say, we want extra cheese. They go last pick Brood, something that Liquid has done very successfully previously on this tournament, and to the point where it was usually getting banned in the second stage.
This is the first time in the main event they got to go for the Brood. I think every team has second phase banned the Brood, just respecting what Team Liquid could do about it. And once we get into the game, I'll talk about what you could do. But I want to talk about LGD a bit. You know, coming into this tournament, a lot of the memes on the Chinese network is saying, like, they are the people's champ. They are supposed to team that this year is going to win it all. And now they're 1 game away from being eliminated. So there's a lot riding on this. Also for Team Liquid, one of the storyline coming in here is that he's been to every single TI. Team Liquid has done well, always at finishing 2nd place, 3rd place. This is the big win they're searching for.
God, they are going to have everyone in this crowd behind them if they could take this game.
I hear
at least
USA chants
the vast
everywhere.
majority. We've got the USA chants for, of course, a very American roster. I mean, Liquid built a lot of fans from that fan base back in the day. But, oh, I think it's a bit of a stretch. But hey, we'll give it to you guys. Let's see. Can Liquid take game 2? Or will LGD force that very, very nervous deciding game number 3? We find out now as the teams enter the fields of Dota.
So the Matumba Man mid lane Broodmother, if you haven't seen it, you might think this is a pushing hero. At least traditionally, that's how it's played. But Matumba Man plays at a very economy based. You'll see him litter wards all across this mid lane. You see 4 ancient camps next to the mid lane. He will farm all of them. He will walk into his own jungle with the kind of the lines of webs he'll build across the map and just farm camps after camps after camps. The lane 1v1 matchup versus Timbersaw might not be the best. Like, he can't really harass and kill the Timbersaw because of reactive armor. But there's nothing the Timber can do about stopping Broodmother just farming all of their map. I think this, like, it doesn't look like it's a late game draft, but I think this Broodmother has some very, very strong late game power.
Let's see if she can get there, as Liquid are going to be running that off-lane Mind Control Venomancer. LGD setting up with, at least initially, the defensive tri-lane. We'll see Mind Control getting snared a bit here, but should be okay. Just want to control these bounty runes early for LGD. And of course, it is going to be a safe lane Huskar. So, you know, oftentimes with the Huskar, you really do look to, can anyone pressure him in the lane? Is there any way to slow down that armlet timing? But a solo Batrider Lumi,
no,
that is not going to slow him down.
In fact, I wonder how 011 is going to lane it himself. I think he might need to stack for himself and perhaps jungle a little bit, because
it's kind of pick your poison, right? Like the Timbersaw, you know, obviously can lane well against the Broodmother, but they don't really have anyone left to deal with the Huskar in lane anymore.
Yep. Also, this is a very awkward laning pairing for LG on the bottom side of the map. You got a Death Prophet, very strong laner, but definitely needs a ton of levels to kind of propel ahead with the Spirit Siphon as well as the Crypt Swarm. So
it looks weird. Like, Death Prophet always goes mid. I can't even recall the last time I've seen her not in the mid lane, but I don't know that there's a better setup for LGD.
Yeah, they, like
what are you going to do? Send the Death Prophet off lane? That sounds hard.
They got double cheese, so you're going to have to do something back. You even have teams like OG, they put their safe lane player mid to play Death Prophet, because Ana in that team is like not really comfortable.
Oh, they are setting up here in the bottom lane, looking for Mind Control early. Fissure coming through, but the Spirit Siphon still going. Is it enough for maybe just one auto attack short? It looked like. Still Mind Control slinks away.
Yeah, I was not in position for a good Fortune's End to extend the chainsaw.
This mid lane is going very well for Ame early on anyway, as he's off to the 8 CS mark. Obviously, there's going to be some Spiderling last hits here as the game moves along, so the creep score can be a little deceiving, but for now it is going well.
Top lane, 011 struggling as expected. One of the best way to zone out the Batrider and support is the Dazzle. It's Poison Touch and give him the right click. If the Batrider turns on you, your Huskar is going to come up and help you out. So, not sure exactly what 011 is going to do here.
For now, it's just suffer quietly and hug the tower. That is the call from him. Get the early levels. We're going to see Matumba Man ramping up the Spiderling army, using them for some last hits.
The one good thing that Ame is getting out of this lane is that a lot of time, for example in this case, like the Broodmother Spiderling could just right-click the enemy mid-hero, but of course he's got the reactive armor, so he's not going to even care about that. As we have a little bit of D-War ward. Does it not clip the sentry on the mid lane? I guess not.
The tricks of the angle, perhaps. Liquid, meanwhile, rotating the Earthshaker around. He's going to lumber towards top here. This could well be the first blood. 11 does have the Firefly. He tries to back away. Fissure holding it. 11 will back off.
Obviously,
good effort by GH, but this time unable to find the kill. Nope. In fact, could be in a tiny bit of danger here. 11 wants
Firefly's ending soon, so
not going to pursue, but does secure the bounty room after the stack.
Broodmother cutting in from the mid lane to the camps on the side, already farmed a Centaur camp. And it's so easy for, like, if Matumba Man expects a gank coming, he'll just do what he's doing now. It's just ultra safe. So he's just going to out-farm your mid eventually, and there's not much you could do about it.
Really is the beauty of the new map configuration with the way the jungle camps have been moved around over the last year and a half or so, that there's just so many places Brood can send the Spiderlings mid. You mentioned the 4 ancient camps. There's also some smaller and easier to kill ones early.
Yeah.
So it does give you a lot of options to stay relevant, even if you have a disadvantage matchup against a hero early.
11's going to try to port out. Is there going to be Fissure? Oh, just a little bit
trying
late.
to time it just right.
I think he was thinking that the Batrider was kind of juking up there, and then the Batrider just ported out.
Playing with fire. And they do set mind control here off to the jungle, at least for now.
Yep.
So not going to try to lane bottom. They are giving that freely to the DP. They're still a bit behind in the CS department all the same. That one less creep.
Bounty.
So looking forward, Lumi, obviously Liquid are a fantastic Roche lineup. They have Huskar, they have the Veno, and they have Brood. And the new Brood build for Matumba Man is just rushing this Desolator straight off.
Yep.
See Ame pressuring GH here. He's going to chain forward. Does he commit for this? Does he try? The Fissure comes through. GH knows there's a bit of danger. It's a level 3 reactive armor.
This game, it really comes down to how well LGD could deal with pressure. It is so important to keep your mid-tier 1 alive, because if you do lose that mid-tier 1, one thing that we always talk about is losing map control. But if you lose map control against this Broodmother, then he starts to farm your jungle. And
then Huskar's taking Roshan, Veno's
and taking tier 1s and tier 2s. And we saw LGD when they got 0-2 by Virtus Pro. One thing that Virtus Pro did very well was apply pressure everywhere on the map, such that you had to keep reacting via TP scrolls and whatnot, and just pull you apart. And I think with this draft, that's exactly what Team Liquid is going for as well.
Ame could be the glue that holds them together, as he is having a great start here, still mid. Oracle trying to get those levels with maybe bottom. So mind control back to the lane now. You see that dance between woods and lane, trying to consistently keep the farm up, stay safe. GH continues his roaming now back to the bottom, and see Matumba Man, as you mentioned before, just every chance he gets, he'll take a pit stop in the woods, keep the farm up, keep the economy as strong as possible for Liquid. All the while, the first timing they're looking for here is the armlet, and Miracle getting close to it now, just needs the 2 last small components, but while he's waiting for that, LGD are wrapping around. They're actually pressuring the Liquid tower pretty rapidly, so trying to convert this good start as GH will show himself in the lane here. Could be in danger. Fissure coming through. Broodmother joining the frame momentarily with the Spiderling army. But LGD come from behind. Can they lock him down? They try to burst him. Chaining over the top. Ame scores the first blood. Does Liquid get any revenge? They're going to send the Spiderling army after them. These things can pack a punch. Victoria.
Delta split time. Look for TP out.
And is going to be allowed to walk away for now.
I mean, these 3 heroes don't have a stun, right?
One thing Liquid are lacking, it's just about to mention. They have just the Earthshaker.
Oh no.
Very light on stun.
Yao jukes to the right. He's going to get found out. It's time to buy some space. Buy items if you need to.
Boots! My boots!
Oh, no boots for him.
My kingdom for a shoe.
Buy TP scroll, buy wards. All right, he lost like 50 gold. I don't think he lost any, actually. I'm not sure.
Well, he lost an early
very
boots
little.
timing, that's for sure.
They lose the boots, yeah.
But look at this
yeah,
mid lane. Timbersaw is just hitting the tower. He's actually about to take it. The glyph comes out. This is unusual to see a Brood getting pushed down this early. Can Ame get the last hit? The Fissure comes through. GH looking for the deny.
Oh,
It's
he gets it.
Spider. No, it's just GH. Quick double club. Denies that tower, but it's still the tower down.
So the only,
Ame's favor.
the only time that Matumba Man struggled on the mid Brood was versus, I believe, a Bristleback. A Bristleback very similar to what Timbersaw is here. Like he just doesn't really care about the spider harass.
And if you leave them in the lane to
He'll just
harass, he kills them.
Yeah, he keeps kind of pressuring your spiders and then pressure your tower. And that's why we saw Team Liquid last banning that Bristleback in this draft. But the Timbersaw last pick was very, very smart. Because if you put DP against this, DP is already dead 2 times and you have lost your tower by now. So
we'll see how it works out later in the game. But considering they only had about 30 seconds to figure out something that counters 2 cheesy heroes,
pretty impressive.
It's impressive that they're even having a shot at this point.
In fact, they are in the lead.
Dire Scan just missing Victoria.
This ward is
right
see
out of
Kurogi.
range. And he's about to see Kuro. Everything going right.
I don't know if you want to tower dive next to a Huskar though.
That is dangerous. But they seem content to kind of leave these 1v1s, Lumi. They're doing fine in them for now. The Death Prophet actually...
Ooh, rotation coming up, but this ward is going to spout out the TP. It will scout out the smoke.
Could be big. They are bringing 4 to the lane, including the Death Prophet. With Exorcism ready, Liquid are just abandoning their tower.
And they're losing out so much. Look at Mind Control. He noticed that the TP is out, so he immediately rushes forward and starts slamming down wards. He's going to just pressure this tower.
LGD want to take this engagement. Miracle jumping in first. The Fissure coming through, trying to interrupt the Oracle. Exorcism committed, but they down already. They will lose him. And the ultimate of the Death Prophet. Now the chase forward. Enchantum connects. They're looking for extra kills. Liquid bait the trap. They get 2. They want a 3rd. Looks like 11 will be able to retreat. Miracle roasting a bit.
Not only did they get 2,
that was the armlet debut.
They also put Exorcism on a cooldown. Whenever you use Exorcism, you better win a big team fight or you get a building out of it. They get neither. Ame forced to TP bottom because Mind Control was pressuring it, which allows mid lane to be free again. LGD starting to get stretched apart a little bit here. They still have kept that mid tier 1 alive, which is the critical building, but even though it's only score 1 to 3, there's a lot of pressure that LGD is facing right now.
They just know one key mistake, not just that fight top, but maybe one more, and all of a sudden Liquid are threatening that tower mid. They're going to fish here, though, with the turret on the mid lane. They find GH, but now maybe moves forward, trying to TP away the X, reeling him back in. LGD, they've got the abilities they need. The club, not enough. Down he goes. So a nice kill for LGD. They keep things close here. They still hold these towers for now. They did rotate the Timbersaw to bottom. And he's just going to hold serve as he becomes the siege engine, Lumi. He just goes from lane to lane, hitting towers. How do Liquid deal with Ame? He's already picked up a hood.
He'll get to do this until the Huskar start laying Fire Spirit into him.
Speaking of that, Huskar diving onto 11, roasting the bat. Normally fire is his friend. Don't touch the stove while it's hot. Down he goes. Yao also dropping in the meanwhile, so 2 kills for Liquid as they strike back rapidly.
Ame under the tower, but perhaps baiting for Liquid to commit onto him. There is a Kunkka just waiting.
Another thing to note is this Deso timing is very fast because it's naked Deso. So
he's got it. 10 minutes in, Deso.
Even as tanky as the Timbersaw is, especially if you catch him away from a creep wave while the reactive armor stacks are down, he becomes a lot more killable with this.
Yeah. Also opens up things like Roshan sneaks. Very possible when you're applying so much pressure all over the map.
And the standard build from Matumba is straight into an Echo Saber. Then normally we'll see some sort of boots upgrade or potentially a BKB if he just wants to be able to take team fights.
He also likes Mask of Madness quite a bit. He is going to be rushing towards it after the Desolator.
All right.
But one of the most important hero I want to be mentioning is the Kunkka. We saw Victoria played it pretty beautifully for the first half of the last game. But this game, he needs to have a very high level of X marks a spot to gank that Broodmother. In the game where I mentioned earlier where the Broodmother struggled against that Bristleback, the other part of the component was having, again, a very high level Kunkka in that game as well to punish Matumba Man over and over again as he tried to farm these jungle camps to keep ganking.
Oh, there's a dire scan revealing somebody lurks behind Ame. This tower going down. as well. Radiant Glyph being forced out in the meanwhile. The
look at the spider on the mid lane.
In the mid lane.
Oh, extermination.
Roasting all of those spiders. Matumba Man even coming back into this. There's a lasso available. Committing the ult. Backup is coming.
Remember we kept saying that 011 has the hardest lane? Look at his net worth. He is #1 right now. I guess a little bit thanks to the fact that he just roasted about 25 spiders. He's got the blink as well.
Yeah, 90 CS already for him. Granted, a lot of spider lanes, but still up here near the top of the net worth charts. Obviously, this can cause problems for the Broodmother if she's out too far. Now with the blink lasso, once it is picked up, they might be able to find some pickoffs. And 11 is looking for exactly that, but not the Brood. It is the Veno, another one of those nasty, vile creatures that Liquid have. And they're going to find mind control here, coming in with the Chakram, chaining forward, Torrent follow-up, big commitment, they'll get the kill. Liquid already, though, they're into the Roche pit.
Yeah. I mean, you got a kill, but it's a Venomancer, a third position Venomancer. It just shows you that LGD, they have this Bat Lasso, they want to use it. At the same time, the Huskar is such a tough gank. The Broodmother, you have no idea where she is.
Scan reveals it. It's not a fast enough Roche that it's out of the realm of possibility. LGD could try for a steal, but they're not really moving towards the pit. They'll finally TP in the Timbersaw. He would love to jump in, but a bit too slow. Liquid do snag the Aegis. Still, they might even fight him. Miracle feeling awful ballsy.
He's got vision, so he's not afraid. This ward is giving him all the vision he needs.
If he runs into the Timbersaw, he is going to lose that Aegis very quickly.
Or you run into a hero and you just kill him because you got the Dazzle backup. The Torrent will hit. Maybe it's still alive right now.
Siphon keeping him alive. He gets the bonus armor. They're not able to kill him off. Now Kuro's out of position. He goes down. Miracle diving deeper and deeper. Really wants this kill. He dunks in again. A double dunk. Special nets him the kill. Still, though, they did lose their Dazzle. On the high ground, they've got the vision pumping the spears into that Bat Rider. Where's Timbersaw? Ame is here, but he's relatively low in the mana department. It doesn't want to dive onto Miracle.
All the meanwhile, this is creating so much space. Matumba Man takes the mid-tier 1 finally, and now he's going to start putting webs all over your jungle, and it's going to be really tough. First, a web next to the Ancients. He'll farm that.
Filthy.
And now the pressure happening on the bottom side as well. We've seen a lot of ratting from Team Liquid, but this is just yet another way of, well, not exactly ratting, but just putting pressure everywhere on the map. That how do you respawn? Where do you respawn?
And you have to respond quickly. The second that gank is revealed bottom, it's instantly, they're already into the pit.
Oh.
And now they're looking for more. Miracle, he'll be the tempo setter here. Looking for dive opportunities. These deep wards could be problematic, and maybe they're about to find again. Very killable. Jump forward. Miracle, give him another.
And again, they ping out immediately that there is a ward on that high ground, but they lose the kill. They will lose the bottom tier 1 to Team Liquid as well.
Good luck de-warding, though. That's the issue, right? It's so early, like you're not really going to be able to buy a gem on anyone.
Yeah.
And Liquid are setting up shop in your woods.
They're just afraid to walk uphill. They ping out
11's going to try for it. He might just go down.
He blinks away.
It's a no-fly zone.
I think that Napalm might have got like a vision of one hero, and it's like, oh god. Let's get
Miracle's just waiting to pounce.
Yeah.
It's just camping them. Keeping them deep within their spawn. The one hero who can freely move about the map, it feels, is that Timbersaw. But now he starts to slip behind a little bit in the net worth department, Lumi.
I wouldn't say he's slipping behind, but more so the Brood is surging ahead. Like, Brood is farming half the map by himself, which is...
LGD forced to play tower defense now. They do have their Kunkka mid, trying desperately to get his ultimate as Miracle lurks in the wings. You're going to bang the bongos.
That Rider.
Look for that jump opportunity. Miracle, he wants to dunk, but not really on Ame.
That Rider finally gets the ward killed.
Much easier to posterize Victoria, and that's who he's going to find. Hey, Kunkka.
He blinks in, he wants to initiate, but he gets aggro slam.
Interrupted, canceled by the totem, and now Ame joining the fight, but Miracle's happy to fight within. Chakram's not enough, he's got to chain away. Liquid are on the hunt, and they get another kill. LGD, you mentioned pressure. Now it's feeling very difficult to get out on the map. Liquid's master plan,
I think LGD's
coming together.
Absolutely crumbling. Kunkka just walks into a part of the map where he doesn't have vision, so he dies. The Bat Rider jumps in, gets owned, and then the Timbersaw also goes in, but missing every one of his spells. I just feel like Team LGD, they want to look for a fight, but they just are unable to get the right numbers at the right place and the right vision to back it up.
One game away from a date on the final day. Liquid are close. Sure, they lost those tier 1s early, but now they're up a lot. 7,000 gold advantage, map control edge. momentum in the series. Can they end the game? Will LGD be able to drag this out? Can they stall? Can they find pickoffs? Where are those openings for LGD?
Shaker walks around, sees Ame. Don't know if you want to go for that kill. I do want to say that right now, LGD, they're itemizing very smartly against what they're seeing. You see the, hold that thought, Victoria's going to die at the exact same spot.
Slam jam, thank you, man. Miracle grabs another. Easy for him. LGD, this is a no-go zone. They cannot be going to that southern side of the map, Lumi.
I mean, just look at the vision that LGD has right now. They have one ward next to the mid and have one ward on essentially a useless part of the map right now for them. And every time their support just walks up the hill, they just die. Batrider finally adds a little bit more vision on the right side of the map, but as they're doing this, Team Liquid takes down yet another important map control building.
This is the beauty of the Huskar. When he gets to this stage of the game, has the level 3 inner vitality, he can just become the siege engine. And unless somebody jumps in, could have been a quick way to delete that Aegis.
Or not.
Meanwhile, bottom lane, Mind Control going for the TP out. Can 11 find something? Just short. Mind Control's gone. And the tower is down. Last hit to Matumba. Still Liquid gaining steam. They are close. One outer tower remaining. You know the next Roche is on the agenda for Liquid. 3,500 gold up on Matumba, man. That slightly difficult matchup early, it really hasn't phased him whatsoever.
Yeah. One thing that the panel pointed out is that neither of these teams have excellent late game heroes. You know, you're looking at Huskar on one side and you know, the Timbersaw on the other. But I think the way I'm going to look at it is that Team Liquid is reaching their late game much faster. They're able to take all over the map, they're able to take objectives, and they're getting way more goal out of it.
They're trying to make a move here. Mind Control on the high ground, though. The Torrent coming through, boat to connect. Can they bring this Venom down quickly? Silence as well. Spirit Siphon not enough. He gets pushed away. Backing up to safety on the high ground. Now LGD need to retreat. Dunking in. Miracle. Give him another. He wants more. One, maybe two. Timber can't bring him down yet. He is fighting in the shotgun, but the Brave comes through. Countering it perhaps is the false promise on maybe, but no. It's another for Liquid. The hits just keep on coming. LGD 4 down.
Fight selection, LD. Walked up the hill.
How do you find a good fight? That's the tricky thing. Like Liquid they have the vision advantage. They seem to have the raw damage output advantage. It's just so much easier for them to take fights, and LGD are desperate.
They walked up a hill to fight next to the enemy shrine. Granted, there was no shrine, but you're lacking vision. And of course, so easy for Kuroki to sit in a very safe spot on the back line, weave up your whole team, apply Grave, the GH Blink Dagger. Wow. I mean, LD, you say, how do you find the fights? You gotta take your Batrider, you gotta smoke, and you gotta find that Dazzle. Kill him fast, and then just move on the rest.
Lasso in the middle lane. Maybe they've overextended a bit. Silence comes through.
Down.
They look to squash the boat, but BKB stands strong. Matumba man forcing them backing away. Miracle joining the party. Armlet toggling, and now has that halberd completed.
Everyone's relatively low. Can they actually make a chase here?
Liquid need to make sure they don't give up any kills. This could be an opportunity for LGD to get outside the base. Roche could be up in as little as 1 minute. It is a massive advantage they've accumulated, Lumi. 11,000 gold at only 20 minutes. But in some ways, it does feel just a tiny bit tenuous if they overextend. These heroes do have to dive. That's the nature of a Broodmother. It's the nature of a Huskar. You have to go in deep and commit to find kills. That's perhaps where LGD can try and turn it. But Liquid are now slowing it down, playing it safe. They recognize there's still a tier 2 top. They'll take that down.
I mean, if you want to play it really safe as Team Liquid, you could just stand in front of a building and hit it, like what they're doing right now. And that also applies to the high ground. This is how we always see game ends with Huskar. He just slowly hits your buildings. You can't really go on him because he's either got a Dazzle or an Oracle.
I just look at LGD, and my big question is, like, can Timbersaw carry? Because right now, this Death Prophet doesn't feel like a core. She's got 5,800 net worth. She gets dunked every fight. Basically, they blow the false promise, and when that ends, she's dead. So it feels like it's all in Timbersaw, but as the panel brought up, like, Timbersaw is your hard carry. That's a little scary.
Yeah, I mean, he's had a couple of good looks, but just missing chains, missing his combos a little bit. Granted, it is hard to play Timber when you don't have the vision, or you have to worry about the explosive damage that's coming out from things like Shaker, as well as, you know, just right clicks from Huskar.
And your way back in the game is going to be this Batrider finding openings, but 11 might actually get punished here. Mind Control ushering him away with a Poison Nova. Back to the well with you, sir. And the thing is, like, those Venom wards, those Spider lanes are just scouting every movement the Batrider tries to make.
And we're getting to the point in the game where I mentioned earlier where Matumba Man is going to start kind of constrict where you could farm. You know, you don't have a jungle anymore. And Liquid, even if they're not, you know, comfortable pushing up the high ground now, they could just wait. They have the map control. They can wait for the next Aegis. They could wait for just keep on farming. You could wait till Matumba Man to get 6 life if you want. Because the way I'm seeing this game going, LGD is unable to get out the map. They're unable to get farm. And a lot of the farm right now is going into items that help them survive and not help them kill Broodmother or Huskar.
See Mind Control just constantly laying down the wards, and 11 trying to match him, but he might get caught out here. Look for the jump. Miracle, he's close.
Okay.
He's close. He's in there, baby, onto 11. And 11 is down. Another death for him. LGD, they keep on trying to leave the base. They keep on trying to fight. But Ame looking for the commitment here, trying to bring Miracle down. Miracle keeps on going in deeper, keeps on committing further. He even fights directly into this ultimate of the Death Prophet. False Promise dropped early, but there's the Grave. Look for the counterplay. They're fighting right on top of the enemy shrine, and they just don't care. Perhaps they should. They've lost Miracle. Now the Echo. GH finding the counter. 3 have fallen. Still the Exorcism going.
The mid-rax is down.
Maybe
it doesn't matter.
The Rat continues. It's a triple kill.
Look
for
at
Maybe.
mid. Look at bottom.
He hasn't actually taken the full bottom lane, but the mid lane is completely eviscerated. Mind Control's gonna fall. It's a trap for LGD.
I was looking, why the hell is Team Liquid fighting at the shrine? The shrine wasn't even tapped. He could easily activate a shrine with Oracle. And then I look at mid. I was like, oh my god, it's a Broodmother taking over your whole base. Broodmother says nothing to it. Let me go farm some Ancients afterwards. What a disastrous turn event. And of course, Team Liquid could just go back for the Roche, as is available now. What can LGD do?
We thought it was hard to leave their base previously, but they might find another kill, walking the Venomancer down, Flame Break back in. With this kind of lead, it is a lot of gold to be giving up, but Lumi taking a lane this early, when you already have the better map control lineup, makes things very dicey for LGD.
Yeah, we're going to watch this fight one more time. And just look at the minimap, right? The Broodmother is doing his thing. And it almost doesn't even matter how this fight goes for Team Liquid. They will lose Miracle. But, you know, they win the war, right? So
Base grade.
Yeah, Miracle's just laughing. It's like, got Rax.
You know, Liquid one step closer now. Still 2 lanes to go. And Roche will certainly aid them in that quest. As they commit, they'll take this Aegis, grab the cheese. Diffusal Blade now picked up on Matumba Man. Cheese hitting the deck and 1 step closer to the game. Miracle urging his teammates on. Do they just go in again? This time, do we do it the good old-fashioned way? Headlong, or do we see more split push?
They could also do it in a way where you put 4 on the top.
Kuro, I mean, a little bit of danger here. Big chain forward from Ame. He's going to commit for this, but Kuro is pretty tanky. Stays alive, diving in deeper, whipping on the chains, though. Now comes the boat. Kuro just pushed away to safety, jumping in again. Miracle starting to heat up. He's heating up. He's, not quite able to finish the kill. Ame stays alive. Now 11 being forced back.
That
BKB lassoing him back in, pulls the spider up onto the cliff, but Matumba Man can get right back off of that as soon as this fire ends. Down he goes as well.
They got to kill that Vision Ward. He's still chilling up here. Okay, he likes the view.
Just waiting for the Firefly.
Yeah. All right.
Now push back down.
There you go.
Liquid. They see an opportunity here. There's no lasso right now.
They still
There's
have
no
Aegis
boat
and
available.
cheese. They could just walk up the ramp.
They're going for the second lane. LGD. Tournament lives on the line. Can Liquid take this lane? Is there any sort of a defense being mustered?
DP tries to walk from behind, but Broodmother catch her out. Look at the damage. He got to pop the ghost.
He's got the Diffusal Blade. Surging forward. GH is there with the totem. Crushing 1. Looking for more. Echo committed. He's got 2. 4 have fallen. LGD on the ropes now. And Liquid surging. They want this tower. GG! Liquid has done it. 2-0 over the Titans.
What a masterful draft coming out from Kurogi, just pinning LGD down, 1 pick at a time. And the last pick, Broodmother, you just saw how, you know, LGD were just like, we have to put DP in a safe lane, we have to put Timber. They didn't flat out lose in the lanes, but overall the gaming strategy just didn't go their way. They were pressured the whole game. And finally, that Matumba Man split push is what did them in.
A little mozzarella, little Gouda, little Parmesan.
A lot of
And a big
cheese.
win for Liquid now. They take it 2-0. LGD had a fantastic run, but it seemed like Liquid just so just on top of their game when it came to the draft.
Yeah. Something, a question that was proposed during the panel was, does Liquid have the advantage of moving the drafting phase? You know, we're so focused on GH because he's the all-star, because he's got the Kato, the Wisp, the Shaker, but let's not forget about the Brewmother.
All smiles, all hugs, Liquid exit. They stay alive until the final day. They bear the Western Flame, but they have some juggernauts to take down tomorrow. It is going to be a tough road for them. Should they manage to take that lower bracket finals, Lumi, they then go straight into the grand finals with only a small break. You might have to play 8 games in a row. But if anything forges your ability to do so, it's TI.
I mean, have you seen that VP game versus Liquid? They could play games like that. They could go long. I believe in their
Stamina.
Stamina, man.
They've got it in spades. Tough loss. You know, Yao, a TI veteran, and took his team deeper than he's gone in a long while, but you know, it obviously is a bitter pill to swallow being eliminated this close to the final day.
I mean, their mantra is having fun, right? I don't think they had fun in the last game playing against Huskar and Brew, but
you have to admire the unity, the team spirit, even in defeat. Still hugs here, but hugs are all they have left now as Liquid slay the beasts and move on to the final day.
LGD falls in 4th place, and Team Liquid, that got sent to lowers after the very first round of the winners bracket, have won 4 best-of-3s in a row to stay alive to the final day of TI7. And what a convincing way to get there.
They look like a much better team than LGD.
Yeah, like they even looked like a better team than themselves from the previous days. They seem to have gotten all the drafting kinks out.
Yep, they're improving a lot, and they have a bunch of picks that they really like right now, and they're finding a ton of success.
I think they're one of the few teams that we can say have draft wins here in the tournament. It's very difficult for people to outdraft Kuro. And from the draft, it looks like 70-30, I would say, in Liquid's favor in the majority of the games.
It's because they have the ability to play these Dazzle Huskars, these Alchemists, these Broodmothers, Furions, Beastmasters, really demanding picks on your opponents. They have to, you have to have something to deal with these heroes, or else you just lose.
It was also especially cool to see the Timbersaw go straight up against the Broodmother, which you typically say is not great for the Broodmother at all, and still Matumba Man performs brilliantly.
Timbersaw pick was fine, but I feel really bad for Maybe because I think he's an incredibly good player, but they shot him down today. It was rough to watch. One game he's a bottom against Lich Morphling, and like he's trying to recover level 5, and now this game he's Death Prophet, top 7 net worth in the game, trying to make stuff happen without face boots, going to the offlane. It's just too rough. Like Broodmother just destroys most of the heroes. You're not gonna go with bottom mid against Broodmother with DP mid. It doesn't happen.
It's a rough game to go out.
Yes,
guy with
it is
for somebody that plays this particular set of heroes to do something so different on the elimination game. Could be heartbreaking, but they seem like they seem pretty together, and they're in good spirits.
We're going to be talking about that match a little bit. The day isn't yet done. There's a special performance coming up right after this, and we're going to continue to chat until that point in time. So don't leave. You do want to stay for that. And this is all I know. This is all I was told.
They like to keep their secrets here.
Yeah.
I have a decent feeling about what's about to come. I think everybody should definitely stick around if you're a Dota fan.
Nice. Well, I don't know. You know more than I do. This is great.
You know nothing.
It's easy. It makes my life so much more straightforward. I just know that there's a thing that is about to occur. And, Purge, I do want to ask a little bit about your thoughts on the final match. Discuss that it was probably one of the hardest draft wins that we've seen. There's a lot more even matches that we've seen elsewhere in the tournament. Give us your thoughts.
And it might have been a little deceptive as well, because it did seem like they had a lot of AoE heroes that could clear the Broodmother Spiders. The first fight was really what kind of showed that. In some ways, when these two heroes clash, this is the most important moment. And the difference here is that Oracle is a terrible hero pre-6, mostly, and Dazzle is still fantastic because he can actually grave Huskar. So at this point, LGD actually taking a fight seemed a little bit poorly planned. Unless they had perfect scenario, maybe they lasso Huskar when he's not by Dazzle, maybe then they could win the fight. The other thing I wanted to look at was just kind of how Liquid does utilize the Broodmother. It's been kind of consistent. Lately, they just kind of put webs all over the map, and then they just kind of like bounce between the two camps, especially the ancient camps. So Brood will kind of form a triangle here. Ancient camp, maybe ancient camp over here, maybe fitting in this one as well. And he just kind of controls all that space in the middle of the map. And you can really see that over here at this fight, where he just shows Oracle being bad pre-6. And his net worth at this moment is actually about 1100 right now. So it takes almost nothing other than a huge group of spiders. And at this point, the middle of the map's completely controlled. And this just kind of continued. If you look at the way that they're controlling the map, they prevent the jungle from being utilized. They constantly push in the bot lane with Venomancer. And then you just kind of have Timbersaw slowly trying to cut down a tree with a little pocket knife. But he doesn't die, but he doesn't also push the lane. So it just gives Liquid this giant advantage strategically after they won that early fight and shut down the DP.
And especially Huskar, who got his net worth so high early, was able to knock down all the tier 2 towers really quickly. They were almost all down by 20 minutes, right?
Yeah, it was a huge amount of towers. And they even denied every single one. Like Timbersaw was there for every tower death, but Liquid denied everyone. So any gold advantage that LGD was trying to get, they couldn't even get there.
Well, we got Casey with our winners. Casey's with GH right now, the hero position 4 on Team Liquid. Tell us how you feel.
Listen, we were so excited. We're like, give me 2 of your players now, and we forced them into this room. So congratulations to both of you guys. Some great games to watch today. Why do you think you guys were able to succeed where many others haven't before? I mean, coming into this match, LGD was 6-0 on the main stage, and they just couldn't do it against you guys. Why do you think this was different? And you can't do that the whole time. No, you're going to have to talk.
Well, I have no idea what to say. We just drafted in a certain way that we thought was compatible to our playstyle, and we thought that with this draft we can beat this team, and we just did it.
Miracle, you've seen TI before, and this I'll phrase this question to both of you, but I particularly want to hear from you. Why do you think that this time is different? What makes this team so special and so successful at this particular TI compared to your experiences last year, for example?
I guess no flames, dude. I think like at the beginning when we lost against IG, we were like very stressed about it. I think like it was flashbacks from the last year, but then we had some talks and we were like, just play, don't care about it because it's TI, or we just kept like. We care less, like we take it just like any other tournament, so I guess that helps us. Like I go into the game, I don't feel stressed or I actually don't feel anything, so that's good for me, I guess. I hope my teammates feel the same.
Do they?
I'm gonna ask them.
You're like, I know a couple. I'll see what I can do. What is the mood like for you in the pods? Every team we talk to is different. Some say that their success comes from them being really focused and really serious. Others say it's from being fun and relaxed. How you just said that you feel very relaxed. Has that been the way it's been most of the week after the upper brackets?
I think it's a little bit of both. We work hard. Our captain, I think he does a lot of work for us. Actually, like he works the hardest from us. And we have a little fun in between too. So it's just like it's hard work and we have some fun. So it's nice.
What do you want to say about your teammates and your captain while you're here? I'm afraid to ask, but I'm gonna. Yeah, you got a microphone, so you might as well.
It's on the camera. I can't say that.
Come on, it's just us. You can say whatever you want. What do you want to say to Kuro? Come on.
I only flame him, so I can't do it here.
Okay. It would ruin your reputation.
He actually does only flame him.
My mistake. Looking ahead to tomorrow, you still have one other match in between you and the grand finals. How do you think your strengths are compared to LFY?
Take it, man.
Take it away.
Actually, that's too complex for me. I feel like I'm not going to talk about our strength, but I believe that LFY is a great team early game and throughout the late game, as we've seen. It just comes to the point where we just have to play our game, because I believe that we're playing better and better every game and we're adapting well. So I believe that it's not about it's more about the playstyle than what you're bringing here.
And you have some good momentum going too, which sounds like might help with everything. Congratulations. Anything you want to say to your fans before we send it back?
All right, I would like to thank everybody who supported us here in the arena, and I would like to also thank my family who came here to support me, and my brothers, and yeah, thank you guys all.
Would you like to add to that?
Yeah, I'd like to thank my brother as well.
You heard the crowd go wild for you guys. Congratulations. We'll obviously be seeing you again tomorrow, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Thanks. Back to you guys.
Thank you, and congratulations again, Team Liquid. Miracle, if you guys win, you're required to flame Karaoke on air with the championship. And I got to say, there is a lot of weight on Karaoke for tomorrow, because as we've seen, the drafts have gotten better and better out of Team Liquid and is increasingly seeming like their real linchpin for success in these events.
I think Team Liquid has themselves figured out, which is a good thing. But there's a lot to look at. You know, they have a ton of lower bracket games. LFY is going to get a huge look at all of those, and I expect them to come a little bit more prepared than LGD was in this series.
LFY, they have way more like heroes and strategies to work with when it comes to answering what Liquid's going to throw at them. So the draft, I'd say, is going to have less of an impact tomorrow. That would be my guess. Against LGD, it was definitely the key to break LGD. And Liquid, I mean, they exploited it to perfection.
Do you think Liquid has what it takes to win this international?
I mean, it's hard to say. It looks like it, but
it's close, right?
Yeah, it's very close. I mean, they're a great team, and they could definitely do it. At the same time, I'm looking at LFY and Newbie, and they're also very, very scary. So I wouldn't put my money on anyone right now. I think it's very, very close.
What about you, Ben? Do you have any bets for who's going to win between LFY and Team Liquid, or even in the grand finals?
I mean, no idea. I put EG to win the whole thing. I think as did you, so we're way past that point.
Yeah.
What about you, Peter?
Well, with the remaining teams, 3 teams left, I think I was going to pick LFY. I think they'll still do it. I think LFY is number 1. I like Newbie number 2, and I really like Liquid number 3.
I'm all in on Team Liquid, man. I was browsing Team Liquid in 2002 when they were not even yet a Brood War team, just a Brood War site. Let's go ahead and take a look at the brackets right now. Take a look at how all these teams journeyed here today. Of course, LFY and Newbie stormed their way to the grand finals of the winners bracket, where Newbie wound up edging out LFY 2-1. But it's Team Liquid's run that has me excited. They went through 4 teams to get to where they were today in lowers. Every single match elimination. And I still am going to come back to that Team Secret, Team Liquid match where they were down in game 3 and pulled a nice comeback. I mean, there's a lot of fortitude and a lot of momentum for them coming into the third place match.
It shows a lot of mental toughness. It's like they're able to come back stronger. The way you look at it is it's a team that you have to beat once, and if you do, you're going to have to beat a stronger version of themselves. Game 2, and that it is very scary to play against that. Like, if you know that all you got from this one map is them learning and them understanding what they need to do in order to win the second map against you, it's scary. You got to come prepared, and that momentum is something not to be underrated, especially at TI.
LFY no longer unbeatable. Team Liquid can potentially look at what Newbie did today and work their own strategies into that mindset.
How often does the team that came from the winners bracket wind up winning TI? I actually not even looked into this statistic at all.
It's happened quite a bit. It's, you know, sometimes there's just a team who's better than everybody. And I think a lot of people thought that was LFY up until today.
Yeah.
And maybe it's Newbie. I don't know. We'll have to wait and find out. That's the exciting part of the finals day.
Yeah, I know. I'm especially excited to see, like, what is the longest run from lowers to get to the finals and then win. Like, have there been any stories like that, the lower brackets?
We had OG at one of the majors, like start in the lower bracket and just run through it all. That's, you know, that's as far as you can go, right? And we had, I guess, CDEC from the wild card of TI making it to the finals.
But no team yet has done the huge win through the lower bracket. I think I shouldn't just try to make up statistics on the spot. We can just literally look them up. But either way, Team Liquid has had a very trying run through lowers, and they will be going up against LFY. As you see, there is the countdown. So there's 1 minute left remaining before the special presentation. So, gentlemen, is there anything else you'd like to say before we literally get cut off in 1 minute and 2 seconds?
I mean, it's been an amazing day of Dota, honestly, and the last series of drafting. I'm personally a fan of drafting, and it's great. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. I mean, LFY, they've been watching all day, and they probably have like pretty good ideas of what they want to do against Liquid, so that's going to be exciting.
They might even have more cheese than Liquid.
Yeah, they probably do.
They haven't had to play that many games.
They probably do, actually. That's a pretty good point.
Yeah, they've played, what, 7 games thus far?
Yeah, and Liquid played, what, like 12 or something on main stage?
Yeah.
Tomorrow, five players on one of these teams is going to have their dream come true. Potentially Faith for the second time.
That is huge. Faith, who is on Newbie, is the only player who is capable of winning 2 TIs. And, of course, the only player left remaining who can win 2 TIs. He is on Newbie in the grand final. 3rd place, $2.5 million. 2nd place, $4 million. And first, for that juicy 8-figure prize of 10 figures. And, of course, their name on the Aegis. From all of us on the desk, thank you so much for tuning in today. It's time for a special performance.
man once spoke of what a hero truly needs. Speed. Strength. Wisdom. But this man was not entirely correct, for he neglected to mention the most important trait of a hero. Style. No need to worry, my dear. The forest, she is safe now.
Oh, safe? It's really not.